Old business.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of Englewood Cliffs. Today is June 13, 2018. It's 8:04 p.m. Madam Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Kranjak?
Here.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Present.
E. Park?
Present.
O. Here. McMorro? Here. M. Park?
Here.
Wu?
Here.
Borough Attorney?
Present.
Borough Administrator?
Here.
DPW Superintendent?
Here.
And Borough Clerk. Everyone's present, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Would everyone please rise for the flag salute and remain standing after? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for Ahmad Salhout, who passed away. He's a resident. Please keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers. And also, thoughts and prayers for Rashard Casey, our Recreation Director, who's been hospitalized for the last 2 weeks. Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please read into the record the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting was given to the press and posted as required. Date and time of this meeting was legally given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. This notice is on file with the municipal clerk and posted on the bulletin board. Minutes of this meeting will be made available to the public upon the completion of typing and proofreading by the municipal clerk.
Okay, thank you very much. We had a student from Northcliffe School serve as police chief for the day, and it was a wonderful occasion. She was escorted by our police officers. She was met by our police commissioner, Councilman Wu. Borough Council President McMorro was there as well, and Councilwoman O also joined. Bergen County Sheriff's Department had a canine come and visit the children. Were you there also?
Yes.
You were? I didn't see you. Okay.
He came to the party. He's talking about at the school.
Yeah, okay. Well, she went to the party and I went to the school.
I went to both.
Okay, great.
Yeah, he just
Get 2 stars on the refrigerator. So I read a proclamation, which I'll share with you. So the proclamation was as follows. Whereas on June 1st, 2018, the Englewood Cliffs Police Department will participate in annual Bergen County Chief for a Day initiative, and whereas the members of the Englewood Cliffs Police Department play an integral role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Englewood Cliffs. And whereas the Mayor and Council of Englewood Cliffs value the rule of law and support the Englewood Cliffs Police Department in the execution of their duties. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties and responsibilities of law enforcement in their community. And whereas, as an honorary chief for a day, Alexandra Theodorakis will learn about the inner workings of law enforcement and explore the important work that Englewood Cliffs police officers face on a daily basis. Whereas it is fitting and proper that the Borough of Englewood Cliffs, along with our community, observe June 1st, 2018 as Alexandra Theodorakis Appreciation Day to honor her interest in law enforcement. Now, therefore, I, Mario M. Kranjak, Mayor of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs, on behalf of its citizens and Borough Council, do hereby proclaim June 1st, 2018 as Alexandra Theodorakis Chief for a Day. So it was a very nice morning. Her classmates and the entire school came out to greet her, and then everyone went back to class. So that was our Chief for the Day activity. And also, I should mention that in the month of May, there's one Friday where they had a talent show at the upper school, and another one where they did a performance of Peter Pan. It's really a great thing. If you see it next year, go to it. The children perform very well and work very hard, so they'd really appreciate the community support, not just the school support. So Nancy and I went, we enjoyed it, and
Arbor Day.
And then there was also Arbor Day that followed the Peter Pan play, and trees were planted at both schools. And I thank the Shade Tree Commission and all the volunteers and the Commissioner, Lauren Eastwood, who did so well that day and planted a lot of flowers. It was very organized, actually. All the kids had fun. So we had correspondence since our last meeting. We had Eric Corlett, Esquire, letter with attachments from 2015 Shade Tree appointee, Yvonne Favaro, to then Council President, her husband, Joseph Favaro, regarding the unauthorized Walker Memorial at Woody Field. Scott Mura, 4 emails and attachments to Mayor and Council regarding alleging Oprah violations relating to his request for police records and requesting an investigation of same. Subject matters include Garden State Plaza shooting call-out, harassment calls, canine request, and tickets. The third one arrived today. It was a letter from resident Jerry Misk to Mayor and Council. It was unsigned. I just want to remind everyone also that our community charity project is supporting the Office of Concern Food Pantry at St. Cecilia's Church in Englewood. There are very large number of people who are working poor that we need to support in our communities in Bergen County. So if you haven't, please remember you could bring food in tomorrow morning. They'll pick it up, so you could even go home tonight and drop it off, or drop it off tomorrow morning. For those who have actually brought products of non-perishable food, thank you very much. It's really appreciated, and George McKenna, who runs that program for St. Cecilia's, is very appreciative and thanks everyone in our community as well. Next up is the public portion of our meeting.
I need to make a couple of...
And before we do that, the Borough Council is going to make a few changes to our agenda. Go ahead, Anne Marie.
Yes, so that the public is aware, we already have on the agenda a Resolution 139 regarding a decision which has not yet been made on a disciplinary matter against Chief Chiappi for the 2 items that are there. If you look on your agenda under old business, you will see that it is the council's intent to go into closed session to deliberate on that disciplinary matter, and then to come back out and make a decision by resolution. The decision is going to be to accept, reject, or modify the hearing officer's recommendation. Should any of you wish to comment upon that, you have to do it in the public portion right now. You will not be given an opportunity to comment later. In addition, we are adding resolution number 140, council members. This is to increase the not-to-exceed amount for the Special Litigation Counsel, Eric Bernstein and Associates, for the year 2018. They are assigned to a couple of matters now, in defending the borough, and we believe there is another 1 or 2 matters that may come out that need to go over to him. So we are increasing the not to exceed from $7,500 to increase it with an additional $15,000. On resolution number 141, we will add a increased amount to the previous not-to-exceed amount for Methethel and Werble, and that is with respect to the case of Ellen Park versus the borough, that one. So that's what that is, to be increased by an additional $20,000.
What number is that?
141.
Docket number? Oh, that's resolution number 141. Again, because they're not on the agenda, but we have the opportunity and the right to add things to our agenda, you have the right to be told, and during public session, you may speak on any of those matters, even though I just announced them in public. That's it, Madam Clerk. And
Thank
Mayor.
you.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to open up to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
You said 20,000, right? 20,000?
I'm not sure. Okay, so if there's any member of the public who wishes to be heard, please raise your hand. Wait for me to recognize you. Come up, you can sit at this table, state your name and address, and whatever issue you wish to discuss. Yes. Yes, Mr. Di Gregorio.
It's just some-
Dave Gregorio, 165 Charlotte Place, Englewood Cliffs. Good evening, everybody.
Would your son like to come up with you also?
I think it's okay.
That'd be great.
Yeah, come on up, come on up. We like involving children when they're here.
First of all, I would like to state my firm support for the chief. I think that the mayor has been harassing him, and he has not been fair to a person that's been in this town for so long, serving us so well. The mayor has complained about him in public very inappropriately. So that's my first comment. Second comment, what public benefit was there to remove the stone at the park? What was the public benefit of that for Mr. Plocker? I'd like to have a clear answer.
So, you're speaking about the memorial stone that was
The one that
placed
I
at
heard that you
Whitfield.
removed.
That was removed because it was never authorized to be there. We diligently searched our records.
That's not answering my question.
No.
My question was,
Let me finish.
what was the public benefit of removing
Well,
it?
there's no public benefit to having it there either, is my point. So, what we have 5,380 people in this town, and all of these people do exceptional things for their families and for their town or for their communities. We can't just have people placing memorials in a children's park at the ball fields without getting approval. Approval was never given. And if you want approval for something, you should approach the council and get it.
But you're still not answering my question.
No,
My
well,
question was, my
your
question
question was answered. Do you have something
My
else?
question was, why did you remove this stone? And what was the public benefit, was my question.
Well, the
How
public
did it
benefit was
all
that
the residents in
we need
town?
to make an example of people who don't follow the rule of law. We follow the rule of law up here under my guidance. And that's the public benefit, is that we are a society based on laws, that we follow laws. And you're always telling me about that when you come up here, and you're speaking from your feelings, but not from your facts and the law.
No, I'm speaking actually from facts, because the stone was placed there, whether it was approved or not, that's a different story. The
Why is that a
facts
different
I
story?
want-
Why is that a different
The
story?
facts that I'm asking for is what public benefit? What public benefit was there to spend money to ask, unless you and Carol were pulling the stone out
Carol had nothing to
yourself.
do with it.
I don't think you can do that. But what public benefit was it to spend the money from Mark's department to remove that stone?
Well, that's
And
funny,
I'd like to know how much it cost
no
the
one asked us how
taxpayers.
much money was spent to put it there. I think you've had your turn at that, so go to your next
Okay.
subject. I'm sure there's something else.
No, that's it. That's it.
Thank you very much.
But I will...
Anybody
I
else
will
wishing
No,
to hear?
no, I'm not finished quite yet. I think that Chief Chiaffi has done a fabulous job in this town. And I think what you are doing to him and the Republicans, and I'm calling out you, Mr. Wu, also, here, because you're part of it, and I wish you would abandon this witch hunt that these few people have launched on the chief. The man is a good man. He deserves to be treated with respect. You are not treating this person with respect. You are in a witch hunt, and you're operating off of feelings and vengeance.
No, we're operating off of the rule of law.
No, you're not.
And facts.
Thank you.
And facts. Your feelings have gotten in your way.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Mayor, Council, good evening. My name is Roger Plowker, 201 Inwood Avenue, Montclair, formerly 39 Elm Street in Englewood Cliffs. I grew up in this town, beginning in the 1960s. I'm happy to see a photo of me there outside the candy store in Coatesville. For those who are not familiar with the stone to which the prior individual was speaking, This is a photo of it, and just quickly, if I may, these are the things that it's sought to memorialize. Ilan Plowker, who devoted his tireless energies and infectious optimism to improve education for the children of Englewood Cliffs, the state of New Jersey, and the country. 15 years on the Englewood Cliffs School Board, including 5 years as its president. 18 years on the Borough Council, including 9 years as its president. Vice President of the New Jersey State Board of Education, up until the day of his death on July 11, 2013. New Jersey and Northeast Regional Representative to the National Association of State Boards of Education. A proud Marine during the Korean conflict. A volunteer on the Englewood Cliffs Ambulance Corps. May this dedication help to highlight the importance of education within our public priorities and inspire others to the call to public service. I think it's evident from the prior exchange that, Mayor, respectfully, you managed to get yourself hung up on what I believe is a misunderstanding about the prior authorization. Mr. Corlett's correspondence to the mayor and council attaches the authorization from the Shade Tree Commission. Now, I think, aside from the unceremonious removal of my father's memorial, which I think is really a blemish on this town, it was personally hurtful to me and to my family, and particularly to my mother, Terry, who continues to live in this town and is a prominent citizen in this town. I'm still hopeful that with the benefit of this new information and the benefit of the input of the full council, that you'll give this matter fresh consideration. I don't think anyone can fairly dispute my dad's contributions to this town, just some of which are memorialized on the stone, or that they deserve the public recognition that stone sought to achieve in part. We can spend a lot of time trying to argue about the thinking and motivations that went into the removal. And the prior speaker was asking the question, what really was driving, that?
There's actually two items, and I respect your family and what your father accomplished, and I'm friendly with your brother. There are 3 other locations in town where your father's name is prominently displayed for his service to the town, and those were approved. Now, you also made a misstatement, and so did your attorney. He sent me a letter from Yvonne Favaro to Joe Favaro, saying, in recognition of Ilan Plowker's love for the environment, especially the trees which he often defended during the term, and by the way, it's not the Shade Rock Commission, it's the Shade Tree Commission, right? Which the Shade Tree Commission has no jurisdiction over this anyway. Your desire to honor him, and it goes on and on. We also agreed that although placing a plaque at Whitty Field may set a precedent with which we are not in favor, it is a deserved honor, and we defer to the council's desire to honor Ilan by placing a plaque at Whitty Memorial Field. Well, you have Yvonne Favaro telling Joe Favaro, who's the Borough Council President, to present it to the council, and he never did.
Well, that I do, or I don't...
And he never did.
I don't know, but whether he did or did not, there can be no question that Terry was given this document and believed she had the approval of the town, on behalf of the town, to go forward.
There's no approval in here.
And she went...
It's written in English. There's no approval in here.
Well, that's your interpretation, but we can put that aside for a moment, because...
It's an admission that you don't have approval.
No, it's not an admission.
It is. It says, go to the council.
It's not an admission of approval.
This is actually Yvonne, this is very hypocritical too, right? Because you have Yvonne Favaro going to Joe Favaro. There's not too much of a conflict there, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. What did she give this to him, at breakfast? Like, here, Joe.
Well,
I mean, come
you can
on.
be flip about it, but the point is, a substantial injustice has been done here, and I don't think we should be flip about it.
But did you see the precedent, though?
The concern that you express in your emails is that we cannot have a precedent
Right.
where people willy-nilly, of their own unilateral discretion, go and place private things on public property.
But that's what happened here.
No, but it's not what happened here, because what happened here was someone believed that they had authority in good faith. We can argue, you and I, about whether this is a final approval or not.
The simple solution is...
What's not an objectively reasonable takeaway from this letter is that Terry Plowker went willy-nilly and did this without first believing that she had approval. So this parade of horribles that you foretold in your
She
email to
went
the
to
clerk,
Yvonne.
it did not come to pass.
She went to Yvonne, and she went to Joe, so that's
You
not...
don't know who went to whom. You don't know.
So here's what you can
don't know any
do.
of
Somebody
that.
can make a motion from
Yeah.
this council
I am
to put the
making a
rock back.
motion. Mayor, I have a solution to this problem. I'm making a motion to put the plaque back into Johnson
You can do
Field.
that, but that's following the rule of law, right? This is something
I'm all in
that
favor
should have
of the- I'm
happened.
all in favor of the rule of law.
There's a second on the floor. I second the motion.
Hold on a second.
And I wouldn't support it, because then we're gonna have 5,380 rocks.
Well, we already have. Yeah.
You can't do it during a public portion, but you can do it after.
You could do it after, okay? Do it as a resolution.
But my concern is that it wasn't followed.
Why can't we take a vote now?
Can't do it
You're in the middle of the public portion.
You can't do it. Just wait.
I still believe that there's enough goodwill in this town and on this council. Maybe I'm naive because I haven't lived here for a while, but this has always been a great town.
We've had this
In the
problem
end, I
before.
believe there, maybe a mistake was made in removing the stone because there was some, you were not aware of the letter, whatever you want to call that letter, you weren't aware of it, maybe you would have decided differently, maybe, you don't need to respond, maybe you'll factor that in when you consider voting on this.
That letter assured me that I was right, because no
Okay.
permission was ever given.
I trust that this
But
body
again,
has more pressing
the council can
business
have a vote.
for the people of Englewood Cliffs than to go taking down memorials for their public servants. In any event, thank you for the motion. I trust that anyone who has a vested interest in a personal dispute that's live in litigation, my father will recuse themselves.
Now, I know you moved that,
That's required.
and I know you moved to Montclair, but, a lot of things historically in our town for 42 years before me never came to the council for approval. And
There we go.
unfortunately, your family got caught in the middle of that.
I
All right.
appreciate that. It is unfortunate. Thank you.
Excuse me. Would you like to publicly say what's referenced in the litigation that's being referenced that your father did? Because you brought the subject up, sir. I did not.
Are you going to recuse yourself? Then I'll address it.
There's no conflict with people that have deceased. You're aware of that, correct?
That's incorrect.
No, it is
That is
correct.
incorrect.
But since you opened the
You have a
subject, sir...
personal interest
Sir,
in the
I don't
outcome of
have-
litigation you
I've
have,
received
where you have a
threatening
pending
letters.
allegation against
It's
my
not an
father.
allegation, sir.
Oh, it is an
It's
allegation.
not an allegation,
You're
sir.
right. It's a fiction. It's a fiction.
No,
what
I
it
did
is.
not sue him.
Okay.
No, it's not, sir, and I'm very sorry that one
Okay.
publicly stated.
It's an allegation.
Okay, no, it's
It is. And it's going to be shown to be the insanity that it is. And you should recuse yourself.
I don't need you to tell me what to do.
All right, that's not what this is about, folks.
Thank
It's
you.
about the rock.
Yeah, well, he brought it up, Mayor.
I know, but,
We don't want to fact on stage.
All right, let's move on. Anybody else in the public?
More litigation.
Yes, Ms. Norton.
After we close.
All right, guys.
Lynn Norton, 9 Willow Drive, Englewood Cliffs. So I think we need to talk about the rule of law. And I believe our attorney and our administrator are very familiar with this particular rule of law. This it's a decision by the Appellate Division of the Superior Court of New Jersey, and they're reviewing the Sunshine Law and the Rice Notice. So the outcome of this case says, we now hold that a public body is required to send out a Rice Notice any time it is placed on its agenda any matters involving the employment, appointment, termination of employment, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of the performance of, promotion, or disciplining of any specific prospective public officer or employee, or current public officer or any employee employed or appointed by the public body.
Okay.
Now, do we have, or have you, for this meeting, Rice, the chief of police, before you put this on the agenda?
No.
Okay. So therefore,
What's the case you're citing?
the case I am citing is Kane, Federation of Teachers versus Morel, 2017.
Oh, I'm familiar with that.
So yes, so this case
He
says,
received a rice notice when we started.
yes, but that doesn't matter. Each
I
time it's
understand.
put on the agenda,
I
he
understand.
needs to receive a rice notice, so you are opening up the town once again
I
to
understand.
litigation. I would not recommend that. I think that, especially our new administrator, we're starting a very bad precedent,
You want me to-
Yes, Helen.
and I believe that, this should not be done.
Well, I think you're talking about something different.
All right, so I understand we had the rice hearing on this matter on March 11th, and now the council is going to deliberate under the Open Public Meetings Act, allowed to deliberate in closed session.
Without a rice
He
notice.
received a rice
He
notice.
did not receive, you put it,
When I tried to make a motion, you told me he wasn't writing properly.
You were doing a special
You
meeting.
were doing it about,
no, you had it at the
I'm
special
sorry,
meeting.
excuse me, I can't
It
answer.
was one time before that, Henry.
Okay.
Not the special meeting.
Yes, it was before that.
You told me that he wasn't writing properly, and that I should back up.
You were talking, no, you didn't. You moved the matter forward. That was on the BCPL matter, Ed. That was,
All right.
It's still on the right.
So,
And
okay.
it's right here, it is on the
Okay.
agenda. So therefore, I believe that we are
Okay.
risking another lawsuit by doing this.
Thank you.
On another
All right,
matter.
thank you very much.
And this has to do with, at the last meeting, when I didn't get to stay for all the fun, but I was listening to Mrs. McMorro, Councilwoman McMorro, as she was telling, Senator Weinberg, that how dare she, go to the prosecutor's office with something that she hadn't heard both sides to. And shame on her. Well, Mrs. McMorro,
no, I think Mrs.
shame
McMorro
on
was, I think Councilwoman McMorro was actually referring to Senator Weinberg's political influence peddling with the prosecutors, or her
Well,
attempt to
shame
do
on
that.
Mrs. McMorro. She did the
No,
exact same
you're-
thing at the last meeting. Now, she discussed me, and this is fair. We are private citizens. She accused us of wrongdoing, but very subtly, of course, in her own tactful way, at a hearing that we're in the courthouse in Hackensack. And she alluded to the fact that we did something wrong, which of course we didn't, and neither did our attorney. Our attorney specifically set
Okay.
us onto another section. If Mrs. McMorro is going to bring this
I
up in
witnessed it.
public session,
I witnessed you.
you did not witness
I
it because
witnessed
we
you.
weren't sitting there.
I'm not going to debate it.
And so, you know what? You didn't
And so
bring
did
it
the two
to find the
attorneys.
facts.
And so were the two attorneys with me. I'm very
You
sorry.
did
You
not,
were caught.
no, I'm sorry, Mrs. McMorro, it
I'm not
never
gonna-
happened. You dreamed, you lied, once again, your
Absolutely.
misstatement.
Careful.
You're defaming me even more.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else
So
wishing
bring
to
it
take
to
the
court,
hearing?
Mrs. McMorro.
You will be
Let's take it on there.
deposed. You will be deposed.
It seems to me,
Can you state your name, please, sir, and your address?
Sevon, David Sevon, 129 Hollywood. Mr. Kranjak, it seems to me that ever since you've been mayor here, you have some kind of a vengeance against people that have contributed their entire life to this town.
That's your personal feeling.
Well, to me, my personal feeling is a person like you only gets 4 years, and after that, you'll never be mayor again.
Well, you know, it's funny, because when you stopped me in the street 2 weeks ago and talked my ear off for half an hour, you said I was doing a great job. So,
I never
you
said
gotta
that.
decide which way you want to go,
I
sir.
never said that.
And when I
I never said that.
got your street light
You
fixed,
tried
you
to
thought
get
I was
under
doing a
my
great job.
skin when Bogner had a birthday party behind my house, and I looked right through you, and, you know, I gave you second thoughts,
That's fine.
but, you know.
But we're...
But I want an answer in what I'm about to, you know, ask you, because about a month ago, I needed legal assistance. And I went into Albert Wunsch's office. And that kid spent 30 years of his life.
Does this concern the town?
Yes, it does.
All right.
I want an answer why you yourself terminated Albert Wunsch.
From what, from public defender position?
Yeah.
Because he represents police officers in his practice. It's an it's an untenable position where you have a public defender who spends most of their time defending police officers. If you're a defendant and you're coming through my court in this town, aren't you going to
Your
wonder...
courtroom? Wait a minute,
No,
you just said your courtroom.
No, to our courtroom. Aren't you going to wonder if my public defender is also representing police? It doesn't make sense. So people have to, lawyers have to pick.
State.
That's fine, but lawyers have to pick a side, right? You represent employers, you represent employees. You represent defendants, you represent the state. But
You know the
can't do
history of
both.
that family here?
I do. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant for
That's
this.
irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
You know the history
In
of
my
anybody
position, you have
in this town?
to call balls and strikes in my position,
Yeah.
okay? What's before me
Your
is what I...
position's only gonna be for 4 years.
That's fine, sir. That's fine. It's your feeling. I'm doing my job for 4 years. You may not like it, but you stop me in the road, and you talk to me and tell me how great we're doing.
Let me ask you a question. Who hired your Shade Tree Commission woman?
Hired?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's an appointment.
they're volunteers, sir. They're solving problems like your problems as well.
How did she get this job? Because I think that she...
How did she
everybody- Yeah.
How did she volunteer for this
Yeah.
position? We appointed her.
You appointed
The council appointed her.
I think that she needs to get terminated, and you gotta find somebody new.
Right, and last month you wanted to terminate a lot of other people. Okay, so, well, thank you, sir. Really, thank you.
Thank you.
She's not getting terminated, by the way.
She's gonna be in court in the next couple of weeks with me.
All right, okay. And we'll defend her.
Get yourself a lawyer.
No, he means his law firm's going to defend her, not the
Okay,
town.
yes.
Not a taxpayer.
Yes, ma'am. Why, because we're not terminating her? You guys want to...
We're going to go over the budget.
Debbie Fair, 49 Irving Avenue, Englewood Cliffs. First and foremost, I also want to express my support for Chief Chiappi. He has done nothing but dedicate his life to this town. And I agree with David Gregorio, this is a witch hunt. And I also agree he has not been properly riced for this meeting. You cannot carry over a rice notice from a meeting before and have it stick. This would allow any governing body to circumvent the employee's rights. You could rice someone for May 2nd and then discuss them on June 2nd or August 2nd. That is not the purpose of a rice notice. A rice notice gives the employee the right to come and hear what's being said and defend himself. And Chief Chiappi was not properly riced for this meeting. And if you discuss him, you are in violation of his rights.
Are you an attorney?
Now, that's absolutely nothing.
It's a legal conclusion.
Doesn't matter.
It is not.
It's a legal
It
conclusion.
is
Can we just move on, please?
the law.
Right, it's a legal
Like
conclusion
to-
that you're making.
Well,
No, it's the interpretation.
The way the law works is you have to apply
well,
facts
the
to
way
the law.
you interpret the law is however you want it to be interpreted. We all know that. Anyway, moving right along, I was absolutely appalled when I saw the tape with the meeting where Loretta Weinberg attended the meeting. The
It was appalling.
intent...
I agree, it was
Yes,
appalling.
your
That she-
behavior
that
was
she
appalling.
would come here
Your
with-
behavior... Do I have the floor? Or are you just going to heckle me and
It was appalling, I
interrupt me?
agree. The fact that she did
Your
what she did.
behavior and the council, certain council people's behavior was appalling.
Of course.
You kept stating to her that she was involving herself in an ongoing investigation. She did not do that.
No.
She merely requested that
That's not
the
involving yourself.
council people all get the same information in a timely manner to make a decision. She was not interfering in any investigation.
Everyone gets the same information. Whether or not they choose to read it
I'm
is up
not
to them.
here to debate that. What I am saying is that you are mischaracterizing her letter. You were attacking her for doing something she did not do. She merely inquired about information to be passed on. And you made such a big deal about
It was a big deal.
Councilwoman Park reaching out to her. But it was perfectly all right at the reorganization meeting when she was here, that Carol McMorrow came down from the dais and handed Loretta Weinberg a copy of her lawsuit against Chief Chiappi and asked her to read it. So, how come, why is Councilwoman McMorrow allowed to ask Loretta Weinberg to look into something, and another councilwoman is not?
Well, I would think that the vice chairwoman of the Senate, of the Senate Legislative Affairs Committee and Oversight Committee would know more than involving herself with the prosecutor.
Mister, you are being so disrespectful. I know you do it all the time. Really, I know, the Democratic majority is going to make a lot of noise.
Mrs.
You're being
McMorrow.
so disrespectful.
Mrs. McMorrow, you are not the chair of the meeting. The mayor is the chair of the meeting. I have the floor. The mayor is badgering me on my point, and I have the right to respond.
Well, you're misstating everything.
Well, anyway, moving along again.
Go ahead, what's up?
Memorial Day. That was such a dishonor to the men who gave their lives to this country for you to give political barbs in your speech. I have attended every single Memorial Day service, and I feel very, very strongly about honoring our men who gave the ultimate sacrifice for this country. And for the last 2 Memorial Days that I have attended, you have done the same thing. You have taken the opportunity to give a political barb out there about people that you don't agree with. And that is absolutely disrespectful to the men who died for this country, and you should be ashamed of yourself for inserting political views
Take a
in
look in the
speech
mirror.
like that.
Take a look in the mirror, because
Yeah.
you disservice them more
I
by doing
do
what
not.
you're doing.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yes.
Absolutely. My father was a World
You
War
have to
II
cherish-
Marine.
you have to cherish your freedoms.
He was a forward observer in intelligence, and I am an extremely patriotic person.
That's
And
right.
I take this very, very seriously. And my father...
You have a lot of anger in you today,
So
Miss
angry
Bear.
tonight. Did you wake up this
Control
way?
yourself.
Did you wake up this angry,
Are
or
you
do I just...
personally attacking me?
No, did you wake up this angry?
No.
You know what? I am very passionate about men and women who give their life for this country, and I
As are we.
see them...
As are we. You're not the only
Apparently
patriot
not.
in here.
You use the opportunity to make a political point.
You're not the only patriot here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm not.
All right.
I'm sure I'm not. Absolutely not.
What else?
Well, what else?
What
Let's
else?
see. Well, quite frankly, there is one other thing. At, I believe it was the last meeting, when you were talking about the affordable housing situation,
We didn't talk about it.
well, maybe it was another meeting, I don't remember exactly. It was the last meeting that I was at. And these decisions by the court are merely temporary. And you made a comment that you thought the planning board deserves an apology for comments made about the planning board not approving the commercial application. And I will repeat to you that we would not be defending this lawsuit or be in this situation, or we wouldn't have had to spend not $1 on this had the planning board approved that commercial application. And because they didn't, we are losing a ton of tax money. I'm sure they're probably gonna file for a tax appeal because the building is sitting there empty.
We are in litigation, so no one on council will comment on this.
I'm not
It
gonna
could
go
have been approved, the building could be going on, and our tax revenue would be going up. You are losing this town untold hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And I believe it's all because you've not had your eye on the ball because you are too busy harassing the police chief.
So the next time you go to court, try sitting behind the borough instead of the developer. It would look better. Anybody else?
It's not worth responding to.
Yes, Mr. Perino.
Lauren Farina.
Oh, Mr. Perino.
All right, Lauren.
Lauren Eastwood, Four Willow Drive. First of all, I'd like to thank all of the volunteers.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Ms. Parker, can you please?
First of all, I'd like to thank all of the volunteers for Arbor Day. The Shade Tree works hard on it and we coordinate it, but Arbor Day, particularly at North Cliffs, would not be possible with the without the PTA.
Guys, in the foyer, can you clear the foyer? It's too loud out there. Yeah, well, then he has to leave.
Thank you.
It would not be possible without the moms and the PTA. It takes a lot of staffing, and they do a really wonderful job. Second of all, the Rock. We are supposed to be a community of laws, and as someone who's lived here for a very long time, I know that that has not always been the case, not only with rocks and memorials that show up when they're not authorized, but in other departments as well. Everybody needs to follow the rules. I realize that there are some people who are accustomed to being above the rules or exempt from the rules. But everybody needs to follow the rules. That's the essence of democracy. I would also like to point out that there are some pretty serious allegations about Councilman Plucker. Specifically allegations supported by a handwriting expert that he sent threatening letters to a member of the council. That is not something that I think should be honored, and I think it's something that needs to be discussed before decision is made about the Rock. And I realize there are a lot of people who love them. There are some of us who felt bullied by him when we stood up to speak at council meetings. So I think there needs to be some serious consideration about whether there should be a Rock honoring him at Liddy Field. I would also like to reiterate, as I do all too often, that the Shade Tree Commission does not have any jurisdiction over the park. The limits of our authority are set forth in our ordinances, and the Shade Tree has its own set of ordinances. The parks are under the jurisdiction of the council, specifically your Building and Grounds Committee. So the Shade Tree had no authority to authorize the placement of anything at Liddy Field. Finally, I'd like to ask about minutes. I would like to know when the outstanding minutes are going to be approved and made available to the public. The most recent meeting minutes available are for the January 18th, 2018 special meeting. The minutes of the February 14th caucus meeting, February 14th regular meeting, March 14th caucus meeting, March 14th regular meeting, March 20th special meeting, March 23rd special meeting, March 29th special meeting, April 6th special meeting, April 11th caucus meeting, April 11th regular meeting, April 23rd special meeting, April 30th special meeting, May 9th caucus meeting, May 9th regular meeting, May 21st special meeting, and May 29th special meeting have not yet been approved. And I note that all of those people who are so concerned about the Sunshine Act don't seem to be saying anything about that. In addition to the minutes for those 16 meetings, no closed session minutes have been approved this year. The last closed session minutes that were approved were the minutes of the September 13, 2017 and November 27, 2017 closed sessions. Closed sessions are listed on the agenda for the December 8, 2017 special meeting, January 18, 2018 special meeting, April 6, 2018 special meeting, April 11th caucus meeting, April 30th special meeting, May 9th caucus meeting, May 21st special meeting, and May 29th special meeting. I really would like to know when these minutes are going to be made available.
We'll get back to you.
Thank you.
We'll talk about it. You want to respond?
Sure, I'm inundated with Oprahs, and I'm unable to finish all my minutes.
They can't hear you.
You can say that.
Speaking to the microphone.
So I could get reprimanded tomorrow? Really, Mayor? Please.
The clerk indicates that she's overwhelmed with Oprah requests and unable to get to the minutes right now, and do you
The
want to speak for
minutes,
yourself?
sure, thank you. The minutes have been started. I have to review them, and as far as closed session minutes, I have to review them with the borough attorney. Except I'm inundated with Oprahs on a daily basis that I'm unable to complete all my minutes. And frankly, I don't think I should be doing minutes at home. I don't get paid to work at home.
Okay, all right. Anybody else wishing to be heard? Yes, I see a hand in the back. I don't see a person though.
I hadn't planned to talk about Island of Florida tonight. Didn't expect.
What's her name?
Oh, I'm sorry, Karen Geiger, 270 Alfred Street. But perhaps I'm a very appropriate person to talk about Island, because Island and I disagreed about many, many things over the years. Island was a member of the ambulance corps and would come to our Board of Education meetings when I was president and stare me down. But, very few people have done for this town what Island has done. There isn't a person sitting on this mayor and council who has put the time and the caring to this town that Island did. Island, as his son said, was on the ambulance corps. We could count on him amongst the other people to show up. He even attended our Board of Ed meetings with his ambulance corps beeper and clothing on. Island served as a Marine. I don't know of anyone sitting on the council who has active military service. Island served as president of the Board of Education before me and after me. Island went against the state board on anti-regionalization and helped to save this town from what might have been a horror. Island served on the State Board of Education. I could go on and on. This is not a person whose name was willy-nilly put down. This is not a political person. This is a person who served the town in multiple capacities over 40 years. And even though I was on the other side of him on many issues, Island was always able to talk as a gentleman about issues, and we came together when we agreed. I think it is despicable, Mr. Mayor, that you, on your own authority, decided to take a memorial stone out of Whitty Field. Did you check that the memorial stone for the young man who died in 9/11 was properly authorized by the council?
I did.
Oh, really? Because I couldn't find any evidence of any resolutions authorizing that. Have you checked
That was
and gone
authorized.
back? Excuse me?
That was authorized.
Really? I'd like you to present me with that resolution, because it doesn't
And we
exist.
should honor that person.
We should honor a lot of people.
What's wrong with you? That guy died
Excuse
in
me.
9/11.
Don't change the dialogue, Mr. Mayor. We're not saying he shouldn't be honored. We're saying that Mr. Parker, who served for this country and who served this town for 45 to 50 years, should also be. And Ms. McMorrow, your nonsense about handwriting experts and your lawsuit means that you should not be voting. And I welcome the council dealing with this particular issue, because only the council should be removing existing monuments. And I should say,
No,
it's ironic, I have the floor right now. It's ironic that only 2 monuments have been removed since you're mayor. One to Mayor Parisi,
Also on
and now
Island.
to Island Clopper. How odd is that?
How about
Let's
authorized
talk
rules?
about vendettas, vengeance, and politics.
Let's talk about the rule of law.
The rule of law is that you don't know it.
Did you wake up this angry also this morning? 'Cause, like,
I wake
so
up angry every time I think of you and what you're doing to this town. Number 2, the library, on a quieter note. I noticed that on the library,
I like how you
you're
did that.
increasing the cost that we're going to pay to the library from $185 to $200,000. I'd like to know how many people use the Fort Lee Library. Do we have user
The
statistics?
administrator is saying it's not increasing.
It says 200,000 on the agenda. It was 185 before.
What it is it's 180 for 2000, starting July 1st to June 30th of 2019, 180. Next year, if we agree to it, it can go to $200,000, but that would be for next year.
That's an increase.
No, but that doesn't mean we accepted that agreement.
Well, if you accept it, it's an increase, is it not?
Excuse me one second, then I wrote the resolution incorrectly.
We changed it.
Thank you.
I changed it,
Thank you.
and I sent it to you.
Okay.
In any case, how many people use the Fort Lee Library? You were very fond of asking that question when we left the Englewood Library. You said you didn't believe the
We actually have
statistics
the
they gave you. Well, please tell me, what is it?
I don't know them off the top of my head, because that's not a number I walk around with, but we could find out
Well,
for you.
it's not-
We'll do an open request, and we'll get it to you.
Everything is an Oprah request. Poor Miss Duffy will have another Oprah request to add to her volumes.
One at a time. One at a time.
Don't worry. Okay, also question, since I do get Oprah request bills, I noticed that there are no legal bills for services after January from you. Can you please tell me why, Ms. Rizzuto?
Oh, are you speaking to me?
Yes, I'm speaking to you. Why are there no legal bills from you after the month of January?
Because I'm backed up.
So we, as a borough, have no idea, the public has no idea what you're working on and how much money we're paying you.
No, she
Well,
has
I
a
think
path
you're
every
pretty
month.
obvious, it's pretty obvious what I'm working on.
No, it's not. It
Okay.
really isn't. You submit itemized bills. It is irresponsible
Okay.
for you not to be billing the borough on a timely manner. No bills since February 1st is irresponsible. It is now June.
I
Next.
know I'm not a mechanic, but she wants the specifications. Exactly.
I'm
what
not
I
talking
do.
about your
She wants to see
2,300.
what you're...
Yeah,
I want to see what your bill is,
She
what
wants
your
to see
billing
what
is
you're
for.
working on, so she can write about it in her newsletter. Go ahead.
I want to know as a resident what we're spending the borough's money on. Very simple. Next.
You are entirely correct, thank you.
Next, rice notices. As I read the law and as I have practiced the law, and I am a certified business official in the state of New Jersey, and I have been a board president,
Are you an attorney?
excuse me, a certified business official calls the shots on rice
No, you
notices
said
in
you
a Board of
practice law.
It's
Education.
illegal
You said
to
you practice law.
without a
I
license.
didn't say I
Yeah,
practiced
you did. We'll
law.
roll the tape back for that
You
one.
did. You might have made a mistake, but you did say that.
I said I'm a certified business official in the state of New Jersey,
Okay.
and I said that I have,
And so what? Really?
a certified business official at Board of Education meetings calls the shots on whether rice notices are required. That's part of our duties and responsibilities. And I can assure you that rice notices, in my experience, are required for each and every instance. We cannot and could not repeatedly talk about various teachers because we riced them one week and decided a month later we wanted to talk about them again on the same or another issue. So I strongly suggest the rice notices that exist in this state apply to both schools and to municipalities equally. There aren't different rules for each. So I strongly suggest that before you move on this and invest in and result in the borough having yet more litigation because you improperly or may have improperly decided how rice notices work, that you table the item that is on the agenda today. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, Mrs. O'Shea. Yes.
You can stay right there, Mary.
No, let us see, no.
Okay. She's wearing a
Can't hear her.
Oh, sorry. How are you feeling?
Shitty. We don't hear.
Okay. A number of things. Sorry I missed the last meeting. I will be looking at it on the
on the borough's website because I'm very anxious to see Loretta Weinberg in action, because I was very concerned about her interfering with the prosecutor's office with borough business, as I had brought up on 2 previous meetings. Last night, we had our monthly senior citizen meeting, and there was a motion and a second made for me to send a letter, which I then asked them, could I send an email? I want to send a letter. And they said I could. But I figured, being there's a meeting tonight, I'm going to ask you relative to what the motion was, and then follow it up with an email. In front of the senior citizen building, we have a flag. And our veterans that are members are concerned, and rightfully so, there's no light on that flag at night. This week is Flag Day, and I think that we need to have a light installed shining up at that light. And, you know, you can put electric line out there, you can put a solar panel there, something to light the flag. And I will follow it up to the administrator with an email. And I would suggest that while you're at it, you check the other flags in the town, the one down at the Veterans Park, and in the past, I have complained about the one at the Chamber of Commerce corner not being lit.
There is one, I'm sorry, PSG.
Where's the light shining, up or down?
It's on a pole shining at the flag.
Might be it's burnt out.
Okay,
So I don't
I know
think it was on.
PSG had installed one.
Yeah, I don't think, I went past recently, I don't think it was on. Okay? So I think that, you know, that's something we should be aware of all the time. And being Flag Days this week, I hope that the borough puts out flags all over the place to celebrate our heritage and our veterans. Now, regarding the rock. A letter, email, whatever you have from Yvonne Favaro to Joe Favaro. I call that pillow talk. It's husband and wife.
I didn't want to say that, but...
Well, I'll say it. It's pillow talk, okay? And I asked Miss Eastwood if there was a copy of that in the Shade Tree office, and she said no. So that letter, memo, whatever it is, could have been written yesterday, last week, or last month. And, you know, unless there's an official copy in the borough's files, or in the borough council files, or in the Lizette's files, that it was received, and, you know, we need a better date stamp, not one that just went like this one.
Just so you know, 2 years ago, I asked Lizette to look into the authorizations, and she diligently went through all the files, including Shade Tree Commission, and there was nothing there. So the first we had of this letter, first we heard of this letter, was 2 weeks ago from the attorney for the Plucker family.
Okay.
So that, it doesn't, I mean, as far as credibility goes, it doesn't carry weight, right? I mean, so, anyway, we don't have it.
Out of the way. Okay, personally, I have spoken in the past. I do not believe in naming borough buildings, borough parks,
I'm with you on that.
rocks, trees, for people, dead people. We do that in the cemetery, and I'm sure there's a lovely stone on Mr. Plorker's grave when his family visits. And that plaque that Roger read, it sounded lovely, excuse me. I can be as disrespectful as I want. I have the floor. I have the floor.
All right,
I have the floor.
she's expressing an opinion.
I have the floor. I am, but tell them to be quiet or leave the
All right,
room.
Ms. Johnson, you need to leave. Ms. Johnson, you need to leave. Is that, who's back there? Who's that woman right there behind Terry Parker?
It's not Laura.
Who's that woman?
You talking to me?
Yes, you need to leave. You need to leave. I don't know who you are, but you need to leave.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You don't have the floor currently. Let her go.
You need
Let
to
her
leave,
go.
ma'am.
Let her go.
All right?
Mary, can I ask you a question? What do you,
No,
what do you think
no,
about the mayor having his name on the bench?
Speaking
Did you see the bench that the mayor has his name on?
Speaking yet. I'm not
Okay.
That's part of the
finished
program.
speaking yet.
Let's be fair.
I'm not finished speaking yet. Thank you, Councilwoman O.
Yeah, he's got his name on the bench with his wife.
Okay, so,
That's part of the bench program. That was an authorized program.
okay.
It's
We paid for that.
public property.
He bought it.
You know, unlike you don't have your name on anything. You haven't donated a penny in this town. Although your son owes us a cab ride, I think, from a police department.
You know what? You're despicable. You know what?
Can we let...
You know what? I have to agree with the resident that
Good.
spoke before.
Maybe you
People
can
like
maybe you can
people like
apologize to the town.
you
so that
don't
you and your
deserve to
kids-
sit up here.
Maybe you could
You don't
apologize to the
deserve
town.
to sit up here. It's a public portion, yes.
Emery.
Really?
This is our mayor, right here, right here.
All right.
Man, that's a class vote.
All right, good, thank you. Let's go to
Okay, are you
Santa Con
finished? Are you
altogether.
finished? That I can have the floor
You
now?
can have the floor.
Please, thank you.
did that to the other
Okay?
Please.
Don't tell me to
True,
Councilman Aversa, you need to stop. You
okay?
need to stop.
I don't
You're
believe...
baiting her. You need to stop. You need to stop,
You're gonna
okay?
pick on somebody's child when you're sick?
No, you know what? He's not a child, he was a drunken adult, that's what he was.
That's disgusting. There's no call for that here.
Yes,
You wanna
yes,
do it in
there
the
is.
back room, go do it in the back room. Don't do it here.
We don't do things in the back room like you.
Someone has the floor, let her...
You like that back room a lot, I could tell from being here for 2 years.
No,
Hey, whoa!
No, you like that.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would?
I would like it.
Are you gonna hit
Well, then I win, right? Then I win, because you just lost your,
You wanna go?
How many police, excuse me,
you need to
excuse
leave.
You
me.
wanna...
you need to leave.
Yeah, okay. Why don't you tell 1,100 people who voted for me to tell me to leave? Then I'll
Yeah, well, why don't you behave like a councilman and fulfill your duties?
Why don't you behave like the mayor?
Sometimes.
You started this whole thing.
Really? Stop. I think you owe the public an apology for threatening the mayor.
You need to stop. You owe everybody in this room an
You
apology.
shouldn't be screaming. Shame on you.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
Not me. My son didn't go to Comic-Con.
Shame on you.
My son didn't go to Comic-Con and beat up a taxi driver.
Shame on you.
It's gonna
You
look
got all
great
the
for him when you run for
basketball.
mayor. It's gonna look great in that video. Go ahead. All right. go ahead.
Really, seriously?
Mrs. O'Shea, I'm sorry, I apologize. All right, Mrs. O'Shea, I apologize.
All right, as far as the Shade Tree Commission, Shade Tree Commission is only responsible for the first 10 feet of the property from the curb. All right? Yvonne Favaro, if she wrote that, when she wrote it, she had no authorization to write it.
Of course not.
Because it's not under her jurisdiction. Okay, but that comes from people being used to doing whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. Okay? Put up things, okay? I was, and I'm very good friends, I'm very close, and I like Moraville very much, I like Neilville very much. I was against that rock going in the park. Johnson Avenue is a park for children, it's not a cemetery. It is not a cemetery. We have a cemetery in this town, Woodland Cemetery, between Irving and Van Nostrand Avenue. All right? And if the Plonka family feels they want to put an obituary on a rock, she could put the rock in front of her office on Palisade and Summit, and it would get much more exposure and much more people would see it than they will see it at Johnson Avenue. And I also was on the school board when Island Plonka would come in his white ambulance corps outfit and stand in the back in the books. And he was very antagonistic and argumentative, and I really did not find him helpful at all. And that was before I knew anything about any party distinction, and I think I actually was a Democrat then, and I still didn't like the way he acted. So, I don't believe that people should be putting monuments in our parks to honor people. We have many people in this town that have donated time and energy overall, and they don't have rocks. We'd have a boulder park if we continue to do this, and it's wrong. It doesn't belong there. All right?
Well, that was my view as well. that
Okay.
There's a park, and it should
It's
be a
for
park.
children, it's not a cemetery.
Also, the lawsuit that was mentioned with Island Clark's alleged handwritten notes of threatening a councilwoman continuously, coming in the mail anonymously, all right? That's a shame. That's a shame. And that was verified with a handwriting excerpt. So somebody like that should not be honored with anything, all right? The other thing is,
Well, that's another thing you point out, you know, there's people who want to honor and other people who don't, and you're going to have this problem with anybody, so it's better not to do it for anyone, right?
correct,
It's
correct.
better.
I agree with you.
It's a
I agree
happier
with you.
community if you don't do
I
it.
agree with you, and I felt the same way about the rock in front of the senior citizen building, that Mayor Parisi was trying to put the name on the building, and the seniors pushed back, and we didn't put the name on the building, but we have a rock for Helen Wunsch in front of the building. You know,
Teresa
what can I do?
Teresa.
The other thing is, Island was very well rewarded for his activities. Because of his democratic activities in the county, he was given a county job. So for the last few years, he had 2 or 3 years he put in the county in a job. Because I used to meet him in Costco, feeling eating the free samples all the time. And he'd go over there for lunch. And, his reward for all his democratic service was the job in the county, because then his pension was based on his county job in communication with his council, sir.
Who do not take a pension.
Hold on, Mary.
The moment you stop working.
Okay.
You need to leave. You need to leave.
But there are, excuse me. No,
You need to
Mayor,
leave.
Mayor, okay.
No, you need to leave. Sir, you need
Captain
to leave.
Murphy, Captain Murphy, can you please assist in this situation?
He needs to leave.
Captain Murphy, can you assist?
Okay,
I'm not removing him. You gonna charge him with something?
he needs to leave the meeting. I called it, excuse me, I won't talk to you, I'll talk to the officer in charge, on duty. Sir, he needs to leave.
He works for me now.
Well, he's on duty right now.
I'm on duty right now. The last guys that were here in the last council meeting, you filed IAs again. So, I'm here.
Well, I didn't file any IA, sir.
Okay.
I asked people to do their jobs.
Unless you're gonna charge him with something. I'm gonna talk to him to behave himself, he's gonna sit back.
No, this is my meeting, and I'm gonna tell him that he cannot come back in here, just like the other people who were disruptive. The foyer is too loud.
4 years, and that's it. After 4 years, I'm gonna walk in every house in this town.
You're leaving also.
I'm gonna walk in every
You're leaving
house in
also.
this town. I tell them that if you...
You're leaving
you
also.
vote for this guy,
Out.
you gotta get his brains examined. You vote for this guy, you're gonna get your brains examined.
You're out.
No, they're both out. They are both out. They're both out.
What?
It's not right.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mary.
Thank you, Captain Murphy. Thank you, Captain Murphy. Thank you.
More IAs than...
Thank you. Okay, sir, thank you.
Yes.
Do not shut the
Excuse
door.
me.
It's all right. One door can be shut. One door can be shut.
Officers, both doors need to be open, it's a public meeting, please, thank you. Open that door. Thank you, open the door. We don't want a violation.
This is unreal. This is unreal.
Okay, I'm sorry for all the controversy. Regarding the minutes, I was aware that I didn't see minutes on the agenda, but until Lauren read off all these dates, I think that something needs to be done about this, because, we'll be in a situation that was happened once before, where, the people that could vote on the minutes weren't there anymore to be able to vote on them, and people's recollections fail and fade and don't remember. And anything can be in the minutes, right or wrong, and nobody's gonna remember it. So, there needs to be something done, and these need to be done. This is really half a year's worth of minutes are not done. And I would suggest that the people that are putting in Oprah requests for political purposes, looking for documents so that they can attack, pull out and stop so that the borough clerk can do her job that's
and do the minutes without having to deal. Give her a month off from Oprah's, okay? So that she can do these minutes, okay? Hold your
A
Oprah's.
moratorium on Oprah, is that
A
right?
moratorium on Oprah's, okay?
30 days.
Okay, and that would be a blessing for the borough clerk. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to be heard?
Thank you, Mary, that was very nice. But just so you know, Mary, the minutes are typed, all of them, except I have to review them before I give them to the mayor, the governing body. They are typed.
All right.
But thank you for giving me a break from Oprah. And you really don't put in Oprah,
I
so
don't.
thank you.
No.
But thank you.
Because I'm not looking to pull political punches. I don't. And the other thing about Chief Chiaffi, I think that what's happening with Chief Chiaffi and the lawsuits that he has initiated, and the lawsuits that the council, the Democratic council people have initiated, trying to protect Chief Chiaffi, I believe that it's a substantial amount of money paying for for the lawyers that are defending the borough and the people involved. And if he did something wrong, and it is decided that he did something wrong, he should be levied with some type of punishment for it, because this has got to stop. Between the police and the police chief, they're bankrupting this town, and it's got to stop. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Maria Valori, 45 Jane Drive. I just want to address the rock situation. I'm not judging anybody. I've had my experiences with the various people on this dais in the past, and I know how I was treated. I don't want to address that. What I want to say is that you can't just put rocks or plaques or memorials or anywhere without getting the proper approvals. End of story. There's nothing else to be said about that. It's unfortunate that it happened this way, but it is what it is. Otherwise, tomorrow morning, I'm going to go order myself a rock, and I'm going to honor myself as being on the Shade Tree Committee and put it in the park. And I'll write somebody a letter saying, hey, and just put it up there. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be funny. What I'm saying is that there's the right way and the wrong way to do that. Also,
Right, so we as a society need to look at ourselves and figure out, are we going to follow the rules, and are we going to follow them consistently? Or are we just going to abrogate the rules?
Exactly.
And have Maria put 5 rocks up for herself?
that's right. For my kids, and my son is going into the Air Force, I want a rock for him as well. So what I also want to say is how disappointing it was, this meeting tonight. I believe that every speaker that got up here was listened to with respect, no name callings, no shouting, no rude words, yet I feel so bad for Mary here. How can anybody attack somebody who has a right to speak? Did I not hear, Ms. Geiger, it's my time and you have no right to answer me, yet the audience is allowed to attack another resident in this town? And I got news for everybody behind me. We're residents. We're all residents with different opinions and different voting.
Councilwoman, point of order. Councilman Park, please speak for the
Because, you know what, I'm ignoring this. I'm ignoring this, because I am done. How could they behave when this is going on nonstop? Nonstop. You're rude. You're all rude. You want to talk about this after the meeting, get together, all of you, and speak about what you think she did wrong, what you think she did wrong, but to behave like this on a dais, what do you expect from this? And they're empowered. They're empowered by you because you defend that, yet you don't defend this or this woman. Shame on you.
Yeah,
Shame on you.
lines were crossed tonight. for sure,
Okay?
yeah.
Mary is...
Don't answer.
Listen to this. Listen to this. Are we in kindergarten? Are we in kindergarten? Do we need a teacher here to put us in timeout? This is ridiculous. We're adults. I'm really, I'm insulted and disgusted with this whole behavior here. As far as what's going on with that lawsuit, I read that lawsuit. I'm sorry if any of you, 2 attorneys, 3 attorneys, 4 attorneys, it's up to a judge to decide whether the handwriting expert is right or wrong, or for them to challenge that handwriting expert. I'm married to an attorney. How can you judge what's in a case? The only person that can make that decision is a judge.
Or a jury.
Or a jury. Thank you very much. And so, I mean, we're litigating cases here. Why? Just to prove a point that one person was such a god? Well, you know what? Maybe I think I'm a god, but somebody else may not think I'm a god. And that's something that everybody needs to come to grips with. We're not all perfect, and our own loved ones are loved ones, and we agree with everything they do, or defend them in everything they do. But the fact is that sometimes maybe my family does something wrong. Okay, and I have to come to terms with that, instead of coming here and screaming at everybody. I'm really disappointed. I cannot believe this went on tonight. And I'm sorry. You should have not have gone, Ms. Park, you should not have gotten involved in any police issue. Neither should Ms. Saul, neither should Mr. Aversa. You're constantly criticizing Mrs. McMorrow for interfering, yet you feel that you can do that. And Ms. Weinberg, she doesn't delegate anything in this town. And she should never, ever have gotten in touch with the prosecutor's office. It just smells bad. You know the words, right? It smells bad.
You know what?
Thank you.
Can I respond to her?
No, you can't.
You want to?
No,
No, I do.
It's gonna be in her-
Because you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, no.
Okay? She did not interfere. The borough attorney withheld information from us, the 3 of us.
Right.
Okay? So we needed help to get that report that she was trying to protect.
And if you had
Okay?
the actual report, if that was actually disclosed,
You could
then you
create-
would know the truth.
You could create whatever false narrative you
Yes,
want.
right. So,
But we're not gonna buy it.
you know what, it might not, and as far as being disrespectful, Ms. Valari, you make faces at me
never-
while,
I
I have
never
you on
made
video while you're making videos. That's right. So let's really talk about, what are you talking about? Everybody here does it.
You're videotaping me?
No, we don't.
I
don't
you
take
made
people.
faces today, even you're making faces at me. So I don't know what you're talking about, all right? Are you telling me I'm lying? To God's ears, to your mouth, you're telling me I'm lying right
You
now?
know something? You're delusional. You're delusional.
All right, anybody else wishing to be heard?
Disrespectful.
Videotaping me.
I have you telling her I'm videotaping.
All right, that's enough.
Videotaping you.
Okay.
There's one right here.
Absolutely. Just you.
I'm the star.
It's hard to believe that this is the way you conduct yourself.
Sorry, your name, please?
My name is Janice Heller, 25 Cambridge Place, Englewood Cliffs. I am going to request from whoever I should request it from. There are many different plaques and different memorials on that strip of grass in front of Johnson Field. I want an approval of every single one of them that's up there.
That's fine, you need to file out an Oprah request.
Okay, and who do I file that to?
With the clerk.
With the clerk. I want an approval
Yeah,
for
but-
everyone, including our 9/11
That's fine.
memorial plaque,
That's fine. You
okay?
can get whatever you want, but you have to approve it, get it
I will
asked
have
for
it, so
properly.
that, and I should send it to Lizette Duffy.
No, she wants a list.
I want a list,
She wants
and
a-
I want it verified that every single one of them are approved. And if they're not, I want them removed.
Good,
The end.
good.
Okay?
I'm with you.
Okay, great.
We agree.
Okay, great.
Point of order?
Anybody else?
Point of order?
Yes.
Yes. I just want to say before, I have a tree at Johnson
Right,
Field.
because you paid for it.
I paid for it, correct.
That's part of the
And-
program.
And the part of the program was you ask,
Right.
people asked if you want to put a tree. So how do you know I paid for it?
There's a record of it.
Okay, so
If
you
there's a
look...
stone there should be a record of
I
it.
see. Okay, so
Yeah,
if
that was an
Ms.
organized
Parker
program.
finds a check that she paid to Englewood Cliffs, is basically what you're looking for.
then you're going to eat your words, is that it?
Excuse me. The bottom line is that the council never approved it. Don't miss that point. It's a very big point, guys. But that's different. That's a shade tree. It was part of a program, the tribute tree. I know. All right, you're all very good at creating these confusing narratives. Okay. The tree program was a tribute program that people paid for, okay? The Plauker Rock just showed up with no approval. Yes.
Deborah Savard, 106 Hollywood. It's really crazy what's going on here tonight. I could sit here and reiterate all the great things about Island, but I think the problem here is there was some miscommunication and misunderstanding on how this rock got placed there. My understanding is that Ms. Parker actually paid for it, and it was approved by the Shady Tree Commission. Whether they were allowed to do that or not do that, it's not really the point. But the point is that if, in fact, you removed it because it wasn't put up there properly, so basically, two wrongs don't make a right. We've got the mayor removing it unilaterally on his own without bringing it to the mayor and council for a vote. So I'm saying, if there's anything up there right now that hasn't been approved, why not bring it to the mayor and council, and why don't you all vote on it?
The vote is to put something there, not to take it away, because it was never approved in the first place. So why would you have a vote to take it away? The vote should be, like we discussed, I don't know if you were here for this, but...
That's your feeling that it wasn't approved. You weren't on the council.
It's not a feeling, it's a fact.
Okay, she paid for it.
Facts have no feelings,
It's been
you know
sitting
that
up
whole-
there for years. That's okay, you can, joke about it. All I'm saying is that the right thing to do
It
by the
wasn't
residents
approved.
of the town, because if you find that the 9/11 stone is not approved, how are we gonna deal with that? How disrespectful would that be also?
My job here is to
To have
balance
to remove
everyone's...
it.
My job is to balance everyone's
But
interest.
it seems like
Let me
you're only
finish.
removing the Democratic things.
Well, that's because Democrats, if you can't make money on it, or you can't put your name on it, you're not gonna do it, right?
Mayor,
for the record, Debbie Sabari is the Democratic council candidate. She's continually bringing politics up.
I am the candidate.
You are continually looking for platforms for your campaign,
I'm also very
and shame on you,
and I'm not
really.
gonna fall into the mayor's bullying. And I also noticed that what happens here is that you say that it's fair and that people shouldn't be disrespected when they come up here. But every time someone comes up here who happens to be from the Democratic side, you constantly harass them. And I have to say...
Is that your political platform right now?
Sometimes I'm disappointed because nobody, not a Republican or a Democrat, stands up and says, Mayor, stop it. You shouldn't be speaking to them that way.
Okay.
Okay?
Anything
So that's
else?
across the board. Nobody, Democrat or Republican, should be
Find an
spoken
issue to attack,
the
not a
way you
person.
speak them to.
Find an
At the
issue.
last
Find an issue. You
meeting-
could do this. Find
at
an
the
issue,
last
not a
meeting,
person.
when you didn't want to hear what Karen Geiger had to say, you turned around and said, why don't you tell Mr. Mura how you feel about him?
Right.
Like, what is that? Like,
Right,
you're the
exactly.
mayor. Why would you do that? What if she turned around
But she
and
comes here
said
every meeting
something
and attacks him.
that hurt him in front of his family?
She does that all the
What would
time.
you have accomplished?
She does that all the
Nothing.
time.
Nothing.
She does it all the time, and you support her
Look,
doing
it
it.
just happened right here now. You had people from the town get up and speak poorly about another resident in this town.
Not only does she, but you and Karen Geiger, because you were a co-author of Eye on the Cliffs, and now you're trying to distance yourself from that, and you have done nothing but write Democratic slants on every single piece of information, and that's what you do.
That's not correct. Neither you or anybody else has been able to show one thing
You have
that
a
was
legitimate
incorrect.
issue that you want to discuss.
Yes, I came up
As opposed to
here.
attacking a person, do you have a legitimate issue? Go ahead.
Who am I attacking, Mayor?
You're attacking me, you're attacking everybody.
No, I'm asking you why unilaterally...
It's not
You
unilateral.
decided to remove the rock. Oh, was it...
Oh, remove the rock, yeah.
All I'm saying is that I think...
That's my job as a mayor,
That-
is to make things go the right way and follow the rule of law, okay?
Right, but to put it, you say it's a council...
What, you want me to knock on your
Take
door
it
and say,
away.
Debbie, is it okay that I do this? Come on.
Really?
Someone's gotta be in
Is that
charge.
the way you're gonna behave?
Someone's gotta be in charge, come on.
Seriously, Mayor.
Really? Seriously?
You know, if you're saying that it needs to be voted on to put something there, but it doesn't need to be voted on to remove it.
So if I put a Donald
So
Trump
you
off there
want
tomorrow,
to-
you'd be okay with that, right? Yeah, you'd be okay, right?
Honestly, why would you put it there? That doesn't make sense. How do you know? Maybe I voted for
How many
Donald
rocks do
Trump.
we have in the park?
How do you know who I voted for?
How many rocks do we have in the park?
Okay?
What is the issue here? She's coming and attacking you. She does this at every meeting, because this is her platform.
Should we limit the rocks to
You
one
probably
time?
should really take a look at the videos, because I don't do this at every meeting.
Every meeting, or you,
All right,
okay, whatever
all right.
the back of the room.
I just got up here to say that I disagree with the way it was done.
You're looking for
okay?
campaign material, you have a little bit now.
Mayor, I don't have to look. There's just so much of it.
We have enough now, come on. Anything else,
Okay.
anybody?
Talk about something.
Oh, come on, Adam, you're better than that. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Don't.
I'm Adam Plowker from 530 Holmans Avenue in Gloucester. I lived in Englewood Cliffs. I have a business in Englewood Cliffs for many years. I'm imploring civility here. I'm hoping everyone can just kind of look at the real issues, but I also want to read something into the record, if I could. It's 40A:9-22.5, Code of Ethics for Local Government Officers or Employees under Jurisdiction of Local Finance Board. And it says, "No local government officer or employee shall act in his official capacity in any manner where he, a member of his immediate family, or a business organization in which he has an interest, has a direct or indirect financial or personal involvement that might reasonably be expected to impair his objectivity or independence of judgment." Thank you.
Great.
Does that mean you're going to report Ivan Favaro and Joe Favaro for writing that letter? Because that's what it sounds like to me, Mr. President.
Enough, we've had enough. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I've never spoken to, I made my business not to,
You have to put your name
for
in.
many reasons.
Can you state your name and address?
Terry Parker, 39 Elm Street. You can imagine how painful this is. Okay? I can't even explain to you the way I feel when I witness what I'm witnessing today. I know a lot of you, and I really don't expect that from you. We are all human beings, and we need to act with our soul, our heart, and our conscience. I decided to honor my husband because my husband, yes, I was his wife, and I loved him very, very much, and he was a wonderful man. He did an enormous amount of things for this town. I'm not going to repeat it because they've been read to you before, and those were accurate. He was very, very devoted to education and gave so much of his time doing it for no pay. No pay. Okay? He traveled for the Board of Education on the Atlantic Coast for no pay. I'm not going to go to do this again, but because you've heard it. Okay, when I decided that I wanted to honor him, and many people have said, you know, we really should honor Alan. He's given his whole life to this town and to the state. I did not come to the council and ask for money. I went and did it all by myself. I went to the monument, whatever it is, stone, whatever, and I wrote a check after many, many consultations with them for about, I think almost $3,000. The town did not incur one penny. When it came time for, no, I did that afterwards, of course. When it came time, when I made my decision, I wanted to have the permission from the town because I'm a very law-abiding citizen. Very law-abiding citizen. And I'm going to tell you who I am. And I've never done that publicly. I am a Holocaust survivor. Okay? And I abide by the law. Because if you don't, you know what the situation is and you know what the outcome is. I've never said that to anyone, but now you all know it. I am a Holocaust survivor. And I don't really, Mayor, I don't deserve that. I've gone through a lot. Okay? And when I asked, and I said to Yvonne Favara, and I said, Yvonne, this is what I want to do. Where do I go for a permit? And she said, I can do it for you because I am the head of the Safety Commission. And I said, fine, that's terrific. Okay? She wrote me a letter. Yes, she wrote it. This was not written yesterday, Mayor. She wrote it. This is not something that was written 2 days ago, okay? And based on that, because I believe this was the way to do it, okay, I didn't know, I bought that stone and I put it there. And I am so proud every time that I go to the park and I see it. And I want the children to see what it means to give your time and whatever you can to the time to further education and to serve the community, okay? And what you have done, Mayor, and not even to send me a letter to say, look, I don't think that this is...
The clerk was asked to do that in August 2016. August 2016, you were notified.
2018, okay?
But in 2016, you were notified.
Okay. No, I was not notified.
Don't argue.
No, but...
Please don't argue, Mayor. I never talk. I don't want to talk this time, okay?
You can talk, I'm just straightening out the facts.
Excuse me, don't straighten out the facts because they are not true and they are your facts.
I can show you the email.
Mayor, I was not notified. I'm not perjuring myself. Do you want me to take an oath? I will. I was not notified. Okay? So Mr., are you there? Mark, who knows my husband very, very well, shows up at my house in the morning, rings the bell to tell me, Terry, Mrs. Parker, I want you to know that the mayor ordered that the stone be removed. And I said, what? He was so upset to have to tell me that, but he followed your orders. Okay? I wasn't even told that the stone was going to be removed. And then you wrote a thing about, and tell the family that it will be in safekeeping. Oh, that really made me feel so good that it was going to be in safekeeping. Mayor, I sat next to you when we were just at a voting thing, whatever. We had a nice conversation. You showed me pictures of your kid. And I said, oh, wow, he looks great. I'd never thought that you would be capable of doing something so cruel. And that's what I have to say.
Okay, thank you. But we have 5,000 people in this town with similar stories about how much they love people. They love people. The people that they love, okay?
Please.
My job is to treat everybody the same, okay? And fairly, that's it.
Okay, Mayor, I just hope, and please, I'm begging you.
There is a mechanism.
I'm begging you, please be considerate.
Okay, thank you.
I believe that in your heart, you may feel that perhaps there was something done wrong. And that's what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Can I have a motion to close the public?
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye. Mayor, may I have the floor, please?
Go ahead.
Mayor, in light of what was said about the stone, I'd like to make a motion to approve the stone and have it be placed in the park.
I said point of order. No, I said point of order before the second, so...
Second the motion. Let's just take a vote.
No, she
We
said
seconded before, and you asked us to wait. So there's a second on the
What's your point of
floor.
order?
There's a second on the floor.
I said point of
I'm
order
prepared,
before...
and she has something to say. Let her say it.
There's a motion on the table.
Robert's Rules of Order is, I said a point of order before it was seconded.
But the second was made before, during the public, and we were asked to wait until it
All
was
right, we're not going to
closed.
spend an hour doing this, folks. Go ahead, Carol. Point of order. What's your point of order?
My point of order is For those of the members on the council that were not here before, discussions have come up about, and I was one of the ones that opened this discussion, I believe it was in 2000, whenever the rock for the seniors came up, Mary, was that 2012? Or I think it was 2012. I was a proponent was the proponent of having the Wunsch family be honored for the school, actually. And then when the school came back and said they did not believe in naming any types of buildings after individuals, although Teresa Wunsch was a pioneer. She was the first councilwoman ever in Englewood Cliffs, and the Wunsch family, which is a wonderful family, donated a tremendous amount of property to this town there. We approached them. After the school denied Mr. Wunsch's request, I went with him to meet the senior board, and we asked the senior board if they would consider naming naming the building after a person's name. They were not in favor of that. Mr. Favaro, I remember, if my memory serves me, was not in favor of it, and I believe that Mayor Parisi also was not fully supportive. That is what I remember. I could be wrong on Mayor Parisi, but I remember Mr. Favaro shared with me he was not in favor of ever naming a building after a person. That being said, there was discussion on the council then that there was a need for any type of a naming policy. Because we are a borough, and because the borough has assets, which are buildings and land, anytime anyone wants to endeavor into doing any type of naming of any sort, before they can do that, the borough needs to approve a naming policy. You can't just willy-nilly say, hey, Ellen, please, you're a lawyer, be respectful.
You're making no sense.
Okay. I am making a lot of sense. I believe that before anything is voted on, the borough needs to have a naming policy on what the procedure is, what you can and can't do, so we can have it and do it right, and we don't ever run into any types of problems. I think that that's a good protocol. The school board did that. They started working back then on a naming policy, and I believe that's my motion to, before...
No, there's a motion already on the floor.
I understand that, but I did a point of order, and I can...
But there's a motion on the floor. Right.
But you didn't second it.
I
made my motion beforehand.
Just take the vote. Okay, just take the vote. All right,
You don't have the floor. Please,
not Robert's
let's follow Robert's rules.
Mayor, can I make a couple comments?
Yes.
I think this is a pretty complicated issue. I've been just thinking through and listening to all the comments and trying to think of a middle ground here, because I don't think we're getting anywhere. History has happened, and the rock was there. There's a couple of different ways to resolve it. One is, we can say, to have the rock put back, and then decide on policies and procedures with rock, or we can actually keep the rock out and have a proper application made. If that application is made properly, I know that I would support having that there. I just think that right now we're not getting anywhere on this issue. My position is, given that there's so much, for me personally as a councilman, it's very hard to vote on this issue. The exact location of the rock, the authorization, the policies that Carol mentioned, make this issue complicated for me. And, I'd like to make a motion to...
There's a motion already on the table.
You guys can't do that.
You can't do that. It's on the video, okay?
Of course it's on the video.
For another lawsuit, Mario.
Of course it's on the video.
I'm tired of these lawsuits, seriously.
Well, you're the plaintiff in most of them, so...
Which you haven't complied with now.
Good. So, look, I think Councilman Wu was making a motion to table...
There is a motion on the floor. There's a second. Take the vote. Take the vote. Take the vote. You have, I'm sorry.
Take a vote. Mayor, we can take a vote. Just take a vote. Take a vote first.
Take the vote. You have the deciding vote.
He made a motion to table.
What's your motion? There is a motion on the floor.
Look, here's the thing.
Bill, you can't make a motion when there's a motion already on
Gloria,
the
we'll take the
floor.
vote.
Okay, we take a vote.
Take a vote first. Take a vote first, and then I'm not planning a crazy out here. Let's just talk civilly, please.
Look, we need to have a policy.
That's all I
Don't
said,
vote.
have a policy.
A vote on the floor, Mary.
I made a
We need to have
motion
a
to
policy.
table it before the second, under Robert's rules. She was not allowed to.
Every meeting, and then when its public portion's over, then you go over there. That's not fair. Please sit down. Please sit down. Please sit down.
You need to leave.
Please.
You need to leave.
Let's take the vote. I need to hear the motion.
You need to leave. You can't just yell out, really. There's a motion to...
No, there is a motion to table.
You know what?
But do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to vote.
It's a motion on the table, we're putting the rock back. That's the motion.
Fine, you know what? You want to have a motion to put the rock back, have a motion.
Yeah, we have a
I
motion.
would
I second
prefer, I would prefer that we actually set a policy. and
We
then-
could do that after. There's a vote on the table.
Right, so-
All right? Please define your motion.
What is your...
My motion is to approve the rock and put it back where it was.
That's right. I seconded already, like 3 times.
Okay, take the vote. Ed, come back.
Listen to the motion, please, because the mayor is allowing it.
I wouldn't... I wouldn't support this. I would have a policy first and then put it back if you guys don't for it.
There's a motion on the floor and a second. So take the vote.
But excuse me, we're allowed to have this
You guys are
first.
having a discussion.
No, but we're trying, you're screaming.
You can't have a discussion
I'm
after.
so anxious about this. It's
Let's
amazing.
go. It's getting really late, Mayor.
We have about 2 more hours of work here. I'm on my 24th hour of being awake because I started off in Europe this morning.
What are we voting for?
I'm sorry, I think you're talking, are you talking for everyone or just?
No, I'm, okay.
Look, my view is that the rock shouldn't go back until we have a policy, and if it fits the policy, it can go back.
Then you take the vote. We understand. When you have a motion and a second, the motion is being considered right now.
I'm fine with the vote.
I understand that there was a motion by Carol and a point of order by... Excuse me.
You know what? You represent all of us here. You are not the attorney for them. Put that on the record. You're not the attorney for them. You represent all of us. There's no other motion here. There's only one motion. Take a second.
Motion for 5
It's ridiculous.
There's no motion for 20 minute recess.
I was not doing that.
Yes, you were.
There's a motion pending to actually have the vote that should have been had 5 years ago, to put the Walker Memorial Rock back at Whitney Field, and it was moved, and it was seconded, and let's have a vote.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Point of order, Mayor. I believe that without a policy that, in place, as was discussed before, that there should not be a vote to do anything regardless.
I agree with you, but we're having a vote.
So based on the fact that the borough has no policy in place, set the policy first.
No, she
and
doesn't
then
have to
we're fine.
recuse. A deceased person has no property rights, so whatever conflicts Carol had with
There
your
is no
father...
conflict.
A deceased person, and that's basic law, okay?
No, I'm not suing him. Okay? Unless you admit it.
So are you. Come on.
Anne Marie, I'm sorry, it's okay for her to vote, right? As long as
Is
you
there anyone
say
in
it's
this room who's
okay.
not suing the borough? Raise your hand.
I'm not making an opinion on a conflict of interest, because I don't have the law at my hands.
So you're
But
saying...
I do believe that conflicts of interest die with the person.
Exactly.
That's it, that is what I have been advised that.
Yes or no, Carol?
Based on the fact that the borough does not have a policy, until it does, I don't believe anything should be done. And for that reason, my answer is no.
No, okay.
My answer is also no, because we need a new policy. Maybe after that, we can get a new application, we can approve it or deny it. So at this time, no. Thank you.
Councilman Wu?
This time I'm going to recuse.
You mean abstain?
Abstain.
Okay.
Mayor, 3 yeses, 2 nos, and 1 abstention.
Okay. Rock goes back. Okay, so honestly, folks, that's the way it's supposed to work. That's the way it's supposed to work. Things get approved. Okay, so the lesson learned.
They're mouthing thank you shields.
On the policy.
That's okay. No, I have nothing to say.
I suggest that people know that you
Never mind.
to look at that.
Point of order? Okay, so now the public portion's over.
That was over before our motion.
Well, but, so I would also like to make a motion, right? I want to table, Resolution 139. There've been several people up here that said that it was not an effective service of rice, and so I would like to table 139, so I make a motion, okay? Otherwise, I will hold somebody else accountable, because we are running so much money on litigation. Again, with Manifesto and Whirlpool, you want to jack it up another 20,000, right?
That's because of your lawsuit.
Right, because you didn't comply, and right now, you know what the existing amount that we paid to Manifesto Whirlpool? $38,000 has been paid to date to Manifesto and Whirlpool. Is trying to help her Democratic
Because you won't get any emails, I don't know what is in these emails.
All the emails,
Right, that is not true. But in any event, I make a motion to table 139.
Okay. I'm sorry, both of you are conflicted on those matters by a court, by a court order.
Madam making motion.
You cannot make
Madam making motion.
That's right. That you were...
Madam making motion, I'm tabling it. I've been advised.
I'm sorry.
I told my attorney.
Okay, good. I'm sure you did. The judge ruled that she is not...
And you represent us, right? Not that.
I don't represent you or any of us. I represent the borough.
Anne Marie, if we go forward with this vote, right? If we go forward with this vote, right? And you are... The motion's to table 139 until we know with certainty that Rice notices should have gone out regarding this matter today.
Okay.
This was an add-on, by the way. This was an add-on. This wasn't on the original agenda. Right?
All right, when you're finished, the Borough Council would like to speak, okay?
When you're finished, let me know.
Well, I made the motion, so
Are you finished?
No, we need to take a vote.
Borough Council has a comment to make. You need to act civilly. If you can't do that, then you need to go sit in the back of the room with the rest of the crowd and not be on council, okay? If you want to be on council, behave and do your duties and respect the office that you're holding. Go ahead, what do you want to say?
All right, so despite this obvious lack of respect of my opinion, I have already previously spoken on this matter at length with all of the council members in the public portion of the Rice hearing that was held in full in open public session pursuant to Chief Chiaffi's signed acknowledgement of Rice notice to have that hearing, that part, in public. At that March 11th meeting, I opined that deliberations of the mayor and council are to be held in closed session per the authority of the Open Public Meetings Act. Yes, there are rights, and yes, they do vary from school application and to other employment. There are stronger case rulings having to do with teachers, much stronger. And you can record me, fine with me. The official recording is with the Borough Clerk's office. In any event, I have already previously discussed with the council that we would handle deliberations in closed session. That is what we are proceeding on tonight. There is a court ruling that bars Councilman Aversa, Councilwoman O, and Councilwoman Ellen Park from participating in that disciplinary matter. And partially. The three of them cannot participate under an order of injunction issued by a judge of the Superior Court on June 8th. I'm not saying anything that's confidential here, people. It's open public record. There was an order issued on June 8th by the judge in the litigation, barring you three from participating in part one of those disciplinary hearing, and allowing two of you to move forward and participate on part two of those disciplinary charges. The public portion of that hearing has been closed in the March 11th meeting. There was a Rice notice given. There were procedural documents given to Chief Chiaffi's attorney. Chief Chiaffi's attorney was asked if he had any argument or statement about the procedure of going into closed session to deliberate as allowed under the Open Public Meetings Act. And that is what this council is going to do based upon my advice. Should that advice be wrong, there are some times where lawyers are wrong, and there are some times when lawyers are right, and it is not malpractice to make a mistake if you do. It is not malpractice that I need to be accused of. Suffice that to be said, I believe your motion is a violation of the judge's order, and I do not think you should make that motion, because 3 days in a row, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the three lawyers for you three named defendants attempted to get that order changed, and the judge refused to change it. Now you are making a motion.
We made the
You
motion.
are
You know what, Emery?
Let me finish, please.
We made the motion.
Let me finish, please. You are making a motion. I believe you are tempting that court order. I believe you are not acting in the borough's best interest or your own best interest. And frankly, if I were you, and I am recommending to you that you withdraw that motion, and please refrain from making motions about that particular matter. Now, that being said, Mayor, you control the Roberts rules. You want to hear the motion, you want to take a vote, feel free to do it.
The motion was made. The motion was made. Take the vote. Okay, now, wait a minute. May I have the floor now?
I have the floor at the moment.
She's done.
I have the floor at the moment. The borough has to abide also by the court order. So as mayor, we are not going to hear your motion, and we're going to save you from being in contempt of that order yourselves, okay? So that's...
No, but then there'll be a lawsuit.
That's fine. Let there be a lawsuit, because that's all you ever say. That's your chorus. There'll be a lawsuit.
What do you mean? You have the reputation of having so many lawsuits because of what your actions are, not my actions.
You're the one that has an you're the one with an injunction against her.
We have the injunction because of your political operatives sitting right there. Not because of your own doings. As for your ability, by the way, at the last meeting, right? No. You allowed Carol McMahon to vote on another topic matter, right? You voted on the assignment of attorney. Right? On the defense of our attorney. I did not. You did take a vote. We have it on video. You motioned for my appointment of the attorney, Carol. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You have an order. May I have the floor, please? May I have the floor?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Chairman. Okay, go ahead.
Point of order. Okay, Emery, I agree with you. Many times, sometimes, few times, attorneys can be wrong. In our instances, in this town, there were too many times that we were wrong, okay? We were given wrong advice. And this is why we have to end up in court, okay? Why don't we take the more safe measure here? What is wrong with tabling this to the next meeting until we figure this out?
We're not
The notice.
tabling. We are not tabling this.
And not only that, I'm not done, Mayor. I'm not done.
Finish.
The other reason that we should table this is because the agenda that you revised and updated, it wasn't done until, 15 minutes? 5:46. The chief doesn't even know that he's on the agenda. Yes, it
It's
is.
the judge's order to...
Okay, so in light of all of this, we have to,
No, we don't have to.
we have to take a roll call.
You want to.
There's a motion, there's a
No,
second.
we're-
I've been advised from my attorney, and the last point that I want to make before you cut me off, Mayor, okay, the court order by the judge is on the deliberation. It's not about making a motion to table. So there's nothing wrong with that.
We're not...
Okay, I've been advised from my attorney that we can't participate in tabling.
Yeah.
And there's a motion, there's a second.
We're not hearing your motion. We are not doing it. The borough is also bound by that court order. We're not doing it, okay? I want to move over to...
No,
the
we
payment
have to
claim.
take a,
Can
we
I
have to take a vote.
We don't have to do
Yes,
that.
we have to take a vote. There's a vote on the table.
Yeah,
You
Robert-
always do this at every meeting. You
It's
try to
Robert's
poo-poo us.
rules. It's Robert's rules.
Right?
I'm the chairman, you're not the
So,
chairman.
wait, so I have a question. The Robert's rule says you can disregard any time when we make a motion? That's exactly what you
This is
do.
Robert's rules, right? And
Wait,
you're-
the
you're-
question
let
is,
me
you
finish.
disregard when
Let me
we
finish.
make a motion
Let me
and
finish.
say there is no motion on the table.
All right, so there's Robert's rules, and then there's a court order. There's a court order that tells you not to do something.
Answer the question. So the court order said we can't participate in the deliberation, okay? We are being enjoined.
No, you're...
No, we're not even voting on his disciplinary action.
Now you're...
You have
now
a
you're playing
copy.
with
I
the
have a
words.
copy.
Now you're playing with the words. That's not what it says.
Well, that's what the attorneys do, right, Mayor?
All right, I know you're desperately
So,
trying
Anne Marie.
to stop me from doing something that I want to do.
Don't ask me, if you don't respect my opinion, why?
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So if you're wrong here,
I've already, excuse me,
All right.
Councilwoman Park, I've said my piece. Please.
All right, we're going to do the
okay,
payment of
let's take
claims.
the vote.
Have a motion to, for Resolution 18-130, May 10, 2018.
Second.
Second.
We have to take
We have a vote on
the
table.
vote on the table.
Taking the vote.
Take the vote.
Take the vote.
Yeah, we're taking the vote.
You need to leave.
No.
Wait, you gonna press the button again, Mario?
You need to leave.
I'm gonna leave,
Can we just
and
please...
you're not gonna kick me out.
That's fine. That's fine. However you leave is great with me. Have a good night, sir.
You're terribly impotent at what you do.
Thanks.
Take the vote.
That's fine.
Take the vote.
Attack...
You let...
All right.
Take the vote.
Take the vote.
Get away with it.
All right.
There's a vote.
All right, there's no vote, there's no motion. The motion pending
Motion
right
was
now...
made to table
Motion
139.
is pending is payment of claims.
No.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Who, you moved it? Who seconded?
Mark?
Nope.
I moved it. William moved it, Carol seconded it. Payment of claims, we need to get some work done tonight, folks.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wolf?
Yes.
Resolution 131, renewal of liquor licenses 2018 to 2019. Madam Clerk, please take a roll call.
So moved.
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wolf?
Yes.
Resolution 2018-133, no, 132, approve raffle license, Englewood Cliffs Fire Department.
So moved.
Second.
Give a roll call.
Aversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wolf?
Yes.
That's all right. 133, authorize the hiring of part-time summer seasonal employment.
So move.
Second.
The vote?
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wolf?
Yes.
Resolution 134, authorize action to renew agreement with Fort Lee Public Library.
So moved.
Hold on. I'd like to just amend to authorize the borough attorney to review and negotiate, particularly with respect to the extension language.
So why don't I redo it and remove that part, number 3?
Well, that's fine.
We'll remove
But-
number 3, and then you could do
and then I'll do it, and then we'll bring it back. That's fine. So, council members, do you understand we're removing paragraph 3 that has to do with the next year and the raise?
Yeah, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Voting on 180,000. Okay.
134, right?
No, please.
I need a motion.
So move.
Second. And vote.
Councilperson Zaversa?
No.
E. Park?
No.
O.
No.
McMorro?
They're voting, wait, we're 134?
134. They're voting against the library.
You're voting against? Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
Mayor Ty?
Yes. 135, authorized use of internet methods of payment of tax bills. Yes, we're coming into the 21st century.
Yes, so move.
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
I know, but this is the stuff like I'm complaining about. I understand it's on, but
I can give you a brief explanation. That is to accept payments
I know, but
through the internet.
I understand.
Okay.
But do we have like cybersecurity?
Yes, we do. Yes, we
Okay.
do. I am looking at first of all, we have cyber insurance coverage already.
All right, but
But the two vendors that follow, they also have insurance coverage, and they maintain the credit card and check information on their website.
information.
Yes. I've checked all that, and also you will see that it's subject to me still finalizing the agreements. So I'm going to have our insurance risk manager look at those contracts.
yes.
Okay?
O.
Yeah.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes. Stays on hold.
136.
136, authorized contract for acceptance of internet payment of tax bills with vendor.
So move.
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
137, authorized contract for processing of internet payment of tax bills with vendor.
So move.
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
138, appointing hearing officer for disciplinary matters.
So move.
Second. And vote?
Councilperson Zaversa?
No.
E. Park?
No.
O.
No.
McMorro?
A point of order, are they allowed to vote?
Okay, so this is a resolution 18-138, wherein the mayor and council are seeking to appoint a hearing officer for disciplinary for 2018, including some serious charges of discipline as to Chief Chiappi. I talked about this in closed session. I believe that all three of you have declined to recuse on this vote. Is that accurate?
You didn't tell me I had to recuse on this vote.
No, I'm not telling you. I'm telling you that there is an inference in that court order and a lawsuit pending about conflicts of interest. That's all. Excuse me. Wait a minute. All I am saying,
One at a time.
I am not making an opinion, because the judge did not rule on this. All I am saying to you is there is a lawsuit pending that makes many allegations only, about conflicts of interest. And so far, the judge has issued a temporary restraining order about one small matter. All I am saying is this hearing officer is for a Chief Chiappi matter, as well as if something else comes along that we want to assign to him. I am not opining that you have a conflict of.
Question.
Yes.
The hearing officer that you are discussing here is not going to be hearing on the Eastwood matter,
No.
correct? So
No.
why do we have to recuse?
I understand. I'm not asking for a recusal.
Okay.
I am as I said, there's a court order.
There's a court order for certain
And all I am telling you...
injunction, not about everything that has to do with
Inside
Chaffee. I mean,
Okay.
you have to be...
Come on.
Gloria,
All right, Anne Marie,
I'm sorry,
really,
Councilwoman O, I want to make myself clear. I am not opining on whether you should recuse or not recuse. You have heard me say before, conflicts of interest must be decided under the facts and circumstances presented when the vote is being taken. I've said that about Carol as well. When giving the interest, can you please don't interrupt me. All I am saying is the three of you have a court order about a Chiaffi conflict of interest on one matter. Should you choose to take the most conservative reading of that and recuse yourself, that is your choice. Should you choose not to recuse, that is your choice. That's all I'm saying.
Anne Marie, we understand that there's a court order, but that court order has nothing to do with this hearing officer that you want to hire or the other way around. So I don't understand your,
You proceed at your own peril. You have 3 no's.
Okay, we know what we're doing here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
McMorro? Recuse?
Playing it safe.
And Park?
Yes.
We didn't vote, though.
Yeah, I thought you just
You
voted.
voted.
Now, just said 3 yeses.
No, you had 3 no's.
You voted. She took your
Hey,
vote.
wake up, we were with Carol here. We were over here with Carol. Come on,
And Park?
play it.
Yes. I am a duty.
Wu?
Can't believe what I'm listening.
All right.
Mayor, 3 noes, a recusal, and 2 yeses.
Okay, we're going to come back to 139 after. Ordinances, 2018 public hearing, 1809.
No, you have 140 and 141.
Yes,
141.
Okay.
So she's gonna add them.
I
Oh, she
said
bagged.
already, I will restate them. Resolution number 140 to increase the amount to exceed amount of the contract for the 2018 Special Litigation Counsel Eric Bernstein and Associates for the various matters he is handling and will handle as assigned in the amount of $15,000.
Motion?
So moved.
Councilperson Zaversa? E. Park?
No.
O.
No.
McMorro?
Do we know what matters what matters he's handling?
He's currently handling, well, the Senator matter is over. I need to tell the council about that. The Senator matter is over. He is currently handling Eastwood versus the borough.
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay?
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
Mayor?
It's
2 noes, 2 yeses.
Point of order, Anne Marie.
I'm voting over here. I'm voting over here. Please.
Just a second.
Yes. What's your point of order? And the point of orders are directed to the chairman. What would you like to point?
So the resolution that we just voted on, that is, which matter?
Okay, Eric Bernstein was appointed Special Litigation Counsel for 2018.
Okay.
And matters can be assigned as they come in, et cetera, et cetera. The borough administrator is given authority to do that by resolution with the mayor. Currently, he was assigned Senatore, which I might as well just say, the appeal has been withdrawn. So it's not coming to the mayor and council, okay? And he is handling Eastwood versus Borough of Englewood Cliffs and Uhtred.
So my question is, can we vote? We just voted, but you didn't stop us from voting or giving us a legal... Can we do that?
The fact that you are named defendants does not make a conflict of interest for you. Yes, you can vote on this.
On this thing.
Okay.
On this one. Listen, okay, I can explain that in more detail later if you want, but that's not the problem you have a court order. That's the problem.
141, please.
Yes, 141 is a motion to increase the not-to-exceed amount for Met Festival in Warble in the matter of Ellen Park versus the borough. They're handling other kinds of things that are paid by JIF, but in this one, it's Ellen Park versus borough, in the amount of $20,000.
Need a motion?
So move.
Second.
Councilpersons Aversa?
Abstain?
No, we're
It's
increasing.
141.
Ellen, you should recuse on this.
So but what are we increasing this one from? I think that's my
80,
question.
we had
It's only 13,000.
8,500 first, and then we increased it by another
That's what I thought we had
5,000.
increased
Yes,
it once before. Okay.
we're increasing it again.
So it's going from 13 to 20, not from
No.
85?
No, an additional 20.
It's going from 13 to 33.
Wow. I keep my vote.
Abstained?
E. Park?
Recuse.
O.
I'm gonna abstain too.
McMorro?
You don't have to recuse on that.
I don't know, I'm
It's not a
asking.
Chiaffi matter.
No, I'm saying, but,
You're a named defendant, you don't have to.
okay, so I can vote, then yes, I'm allowed to vote. I'm just asking.
Yes?
Because they'll be in court tomorrow.
Carol? She said yes. Okay,
Yes, she
thank
said
you.
I'm allowed to vote on the record.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
3 yeses.
That's it.
Public hearing ordinance 2018.
Mayor, point of order, I would like to add a resolution.
What resolution?
I would like to add a resolution that the borough creates a naming policy, and that we authorize the borough attorney to start to work on a long overdue naming policy for anything that the borough chooses to do. This way, there are rules set in place, equal rules.
So anything regarding public property?
Anything regarding
Should be an
public-
ordinance.
Yes. This way, today it's not one way for one person, tomorrow it's not another way for somebody else. Everybody needs to be treated fairly. And I think that's, if you listen to all the complaints, unfortunately, not everybody's been treated fairly. So let's set a policy. I've said that since 2012. Let's set a policy and just, everybody can follow the rules.
And there is one issue.
I agree.
Point of order, Mayor?
Yes.
Can I ask Councilwoman McGuire to, instead of asking the borough attorney to do it, maybe make a subcommittee or committee to kind of produce a framework for that, so that we can produce that to the borough attorney, say...
I'm okay. Well, I can amend my motion to do that, sure. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't have a problem with that. I think that everybody...
I'm not disagreeing with you.
If people have rules, then they don't get broken. They just need to follow them correctly. So that's
And
my
I
motion.
have some base research that I've done a year ago, so I'll get it to
And
you.
I know the school did put a lot of money, and we could maybe,
All right,
I
just
could
look at what
speak to
they
the
did.
superintendent.
Just look at what they did.
Right.
So work on it and bring an ordinance to the council at some point.
Can I take a vote?
So we don't need a vote?
I don't think you need a vote.
Okay.
No, all right, I'm creating a committee to do that, all right. Ordinances, 2018, public hearing, 1809. An ordinance amending ordinance number 17-09 entitled an ordinance fixing salaries and wages and compensation for all salaried, appointed, and elected officials within the borough of Englewood Cliffs and the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, for borough administrator. Have a motion, is it open to the public?
Yes. It's a public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who's
If there's anyone from the public who wishes to be heard just on 1809, the one that I just read to you, please raise your hand and wait for me to recognize you. Okay, seeing and hearing no one, can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Second.
Okay. Give a motion to approve this?
Which one?
1809.
This is
1809 salary ordinance for the borough administrator. Motion, please?
He did it. No, he didn't.
No, that was a motion to open.
So move.
Oh,
Okay, all right, who moved it, please? You did?
And
Carol?
Mark seconded.
Thank you.
All right, can I have a roll call?
Councilpersons Aversa?
No.
E. Park?
No.
O.
No.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
It passes 1810.
1810, ordinance amending the code of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs with regard to police department table of organization, tabling of prior ordinance. So this is a public hearing. Can I have a motion to open to the
So
public?
moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If there's anyone from the public who wishes to be heard just on 18-10, the one I read, please raise your hand and wait for me to recognize you. Okay, seeing and hearing no one, can I have a motion to close the public portion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to authorize and approve 18-10?
So moved. Second.
Do you have a roll call?
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
6-0. What was the vote on that? 6-0?
Yeah.
Ordinance 2018, this is the first reading, 18-12. The bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery and new information technology equipment in, by, and for the Borough of Englewood Cliffs in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,110,000 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate a state grant to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of a bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. This is the first reading. Can I have a motion?
With the public hearing of June 26. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
So, committee and council member reports, the committees, if anyone would like to speak to their committee subject matter, state your name and your committee and tell us what's on your mind.
I have a report.
Sorry?
I have a report.
Okay. Councilwoman O has a report.
I don't have it, okay. All right, so, I believe a couple of meetings ago, I mentioned about a grant program for us to be able to get a bus or a minivan for the senior citizens. So I'm happy to report that the application has been opened to for us to apply for this grant. We have to do it before June 29th. It's called the 5310 program. James, I don't know if you're familiar with that. 5310. It's a federal grant for municipalities and organizations. So the application has to be in by June 29th, and I will reach out to James and make sure that we apply for this, and hopefully we'll be approved.
Is it electronic transmission? Probably.
I believe so, yeah.
It's just probably filling a blank.
Yeah, but it's a lot of information, and you have to get it, like, get the completed application in by the 29th, otherwise they just, like, kick you off, so.
You don't need a resolution from the mayor and
I
council
don't
to
believe
apply
so.
for it?
No.
All right, we'll take care of that, please. Anything else?
Two announcements.
Yeah, good.
Are we not going down the aisle?
I guess we
You
could
can
go.
go first.
I kind of did potluck today.
No, go ahead, you can go. I'll go.
Just two announcements on the calendar. June 23rd, Recycle Fest, 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock with, at DPW. Second event is the new fire truck wet down on June 23rd from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, for the introduction of the new fire truck.
Councilwoman McMorro.
Thank you.
You've been so quiet.
Okay, I would appreciate if, during my committee report, if I could just have, the opportunity to speak without being interrupted. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, Community Night Out is June 19th. I welcome everyone to come. Thank you, Mark, for everything you've been doing. Jamie, I know you jumped in there.
It's on red?
It's on red. Yeah, it was having trouble all night. 6 o'clock, I thank all the volunteers that are coming out, and anybody that looking to volunteer, please reach out to me. We'll find a spot for you somewhere. I appreciate everybody's patience. As I said, we're doing the best we can in the situation we are with our recreation director, but Paul Duffy has stepped up to the plate, along with myself and Jamie, and we're getting everything done. I thank you. It's a true meaning of teamwork when people pull together and work together. My best wishes to Richard. and his family. There were a lot of comments made tonight, and I refrained from speaking while individuals were coming up to the dais, and they were attacking. I happen to agree with some of, I don't just agree with Republicans, I agree with Democrats when I believe they say something that is worthy of agreeing with. And there were a couple of things that Mrs. Plucker said that I happened to have agreed with. But that being said, I do believe in a process. I believe that there should be rules, and I believe that rules should always be followed. So, that being said, what I would like to say, Mayor, because what was troubling to me was, and Councilman Aversa, I'm not saying this to attack you, I'm saying this, which is frightening to me, that you had stated to me that you were not aware that I received 7 horrific threatening letters to my home, threatening me. What's troubling to me is that information has been out there. What's troubling to me is that the fact that you said, as an elected official, that you're not reading the lawsuits as they are coming through the borough. Everyone on this council, whoever it is that's filing litigation against this borough, you have an obligation to read those complaints. You have an obligation to read the attachments. You have an obligation to understand why whoever that person is that's filing something feels that they've been grieved. You have an obligation. Do you understand why? Because you will be voting on that. And for you to just randomly vote when you're stating that you don't understand or haven't read something is irresponsible, and you are placing this borough in jeopardy and being forced to further litigation.
Okay.
Okay. That being said,
Talking directly to me, or just...
I was speaking...
Okay, well, these are supposed to be committee reports.
Hold on.
Okay?
Well, then it could be...
This is
whatever.
not
I
ad hominem.
sat quietly all week,
All
all
right,
night.
so-
I sat quietly all
Okay.
night, and I'm going to ask for the floor and be uninterrupted. And I'm going to ask you very nicely to stop. Thank you.
What?
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm just going to ask you to stop. So let me finish. I have 2 other items in my
right, go ahead.
thing here, and I want to finish. The subject of Senator Weinberg was brought up.
This is supposed to
There's
be
no
a
public
committee
portion.
I'm done with my
report.
committee report.
Okay?
You want me to
so-
wait for old business?
No,
May I
wait for old business.
All right.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
So
Does
old-
that
You
make
made the
feel
senator
good?
wait last time she was here.
Old business, Councilwoman McMorro, do you have any old business you're going to talk about?
Yes, Mayor.
All right, go ahead, finish up.
Okay. Does that make you feel better, Councilwoman O? You have a little power
Yeah, it
there?
does, actually.
Okay, thank you for the disrespect.
So little to make you feel
Okay. At the last meeting, Senator Weinberg came, and we had discussions with Senator Weinberg. It prompted me to put an Oprah request in, a further Oprah request in, to the borough clerk to find out what further communications there were with anyone on this council, with either Senator Weinberg or with the prosecutor's office. And while I appreciate everyone has their opinion, the facts are what they are. Councilwoman Park misrepresented the truth when she called the prosecutor's office. And it appears they also misrepresented the truth to Senator Weinberg, who took it upon herself to act without consulting the members that she was speaking about. So, I would like to put into the record the 2 additional Oprahs that the borough clerk provided to me, and thank you, Councilman Aversa, for providing them to you. Councilwoman O provided them a little late, but did. Councilwoman Park, who has that lawsuit suing everyone that they're not complying, is not turning over her Oprahs or responses. A little bit of hypocrisy there. That being said, there were two
Just for the record, Councilwoman Park just said that you have to get online.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I have 17.
I don't think Oprah requires people getting online, but go ahead, Councilwoman.
I don't know what she's talking about.
You don't have the floor.
You have not responded to any of the Oprahs, and the clerk has told me that you're not responding.
That's
to
what we
them.
call hypocritical,
Okay.
but go ahead,
Okay,
Carol.
but she's suing everyone. Okay, so the first, there was an email on April 3rd. There was an email on April 3rd that says, from Senator Weinberg's office, as per our conversation, and by the way, it's copied to Gloria O. at her personal email address, Ed Aversa at his personal email address, and Ellen Park at her personal email address, but this is borough business. So on April 3rd, doesn't matter, stop.
This isn't about the mayor.
But, and you say it's okay, so
You
it's
need
okay
to...
for you, why isn't it okay for me?
It's fine, use whatever you want. Use whatever you want. Use a carrier pigeon, I don't care. Just turn it over.
I would like to read the email into the record. Okay. Senator Weinberg's office wrote, as per our conversation, here is the letter Senator Weinberg sent to the BC prosecutor today on your behalf. Our office will keep you posted when we receive a reply from the prosecutor. The operative word here is that, okay, here's the letter Senator Weinberg sent to the president today on your behalf. Okay, it's placed in the mail. So here's the letter. It's a one-page letter. Just want everybody to see that. It's a one-page letter. Then, hold on, I don't want to do this out of
Are we
order.
still on committee reports?
No, we're on old business. Remember,
We
just
left
checking.
committee reports.
Just checking.
Hold
Oh,
on.
now we're on...
Then, the next day, on April 4th, another letter from Senator Weinberg's office, to all three of them again, at their private email addresses. Please disregard the letter emailed to you last night. There were mistakes on that letter, which was not mailed yesterday. I held it. Ellen helped me to correct the mistakes.
Are you kidding?
And everything has been corrected. Please see the corrected letter attached to this email and keep for your records. Today, this letter will be mailed to the prosecutor.
Nice
Now,
going,
what's
Ellen.
important here is that Senator Weinberg herself said she put it in the mail on April 4th, but yet, somehow, the prosecutor was able to respond April 6th with the answer they wanted.
So what's your point?
The point
What's
is,
your point?
obviously, there's another communication somewhere.
Did you do a hand
because
delivery?
Somehow, the prosecutor found out quicker than that.
Did you do a hand delivery?
What I find so disheartening is that our three sitting council people are asking a senator to intervene on their behalf on something that was being handled by a prosecutor's office. Nobody should ever involve in police investigations or prosecutors' investigations. Let them do their job. And to put that kind of pressure, attempt to put that kind of pressure on a senator or a prosecutor is outrageous, shameful.
Oh, really? Oh, really, Carol?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. How about when you guys reach out to the prosecutor's office or the attorney general?
Here's the thing. Senator Weinberg is, just so everybody knows, Senator Weinberg is a Senate Majority Leader, and she's the Vice Chairwoman of the Legislative Oversight Committee, so she should know better. But also, those committees and those senators vote for who is going to be the next prosecutor.
Right.
You know, so there's so many conflicts here. You could fill this room up with them. So, okay, and now
The BCPO, too.
that's a nice compliment you got from Senator Weinberg, that you helped her write her letters for her. Okay. Lovely. All right, so let's have a motion to go into closed session.
Okay, and it has to be read, the motion has to be read as it's written.
All right, so motion to go, oh, you want to do it?
You can't make the motion.
No.
We need a motion to go into closed session to deliberate on disciplinary charges and hearing officer's recommendation regarding Chief Chaffee's failure to investigate on the Eastwood matter and improper dissemination of ECPD intra-office memorandum, open parens, PBA Junior Police Academy, close parens. We need a motion?
So moved. Second.
hold on. I just want to say that this matter, as I said, it was a hearing in February 2017. The hearing officer's reports, after full briefing and all the party participation, the hearing officer closed the record, and then he did his deliberation and issued his report in November of 2017. We did our part 1 on March 11. This is part 2. With respect to these deliberations, this motion to go into closed session, I think that we should separate them, because on the Eastwood matter, certain people can vote and certain people cannot vote. So I need to divide the motion. I'm very sorry, but I just realized that.
All right,
Someone please kindly withdraw the pending motion?
Point of order, Mayor, just a question for both.
No, hold on a second, Ed. Let's clean this up.
I'll make a motion to
Withdraw.
withdraw the... Second.
It wasn't actually voted on yet, so okay.
Right.
Okay, so withdraw.
So what I'd like you to do is take...
And Park.
Right. What I'd like you to do is take 2 motions, 2 votes, Ellen.
What's that? I got it.
Lizette.
No problem.
One on, and take them separately.
Yeah, no problem.
One on the first part of it and one on the second part of it.
All right. So we need a motion to go into closed session to deliberate on disciplinary charges and hearing officers' recommendation regarding Chief Chiaffe's failure to investigate on the Eastwood matter. I need a motion.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Recused, you can't do all in favor, you have to vote.
Okay. Just testing, you guys.
Which one? Yes. You have to take a vote.
So I'm going to take a vote.
You're recused on this.
Okay. Aversa?
Recuse.
E. Park?
Recused.
I'm sorry, I just have to write this down. O?
Recuse.
McMorro? Recuse. M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the first one, okay.
Right, call it A.
Okay. Okay, and 2, we need a motion to go into closed session for deliberation, correct? And deliberation and discussion on improper dissemination of Englewood Cliffs Police Department inter-office memorandum, specifically PBA Junior Police Academy.
Right.
Need a motion?
So move. Second.
Aversa?
Recuse. He has been directed to recuse on that one. I'm sorry.
People from the back.
Who are you guys? Stop talking back there.
I mean, they're telling him how to vote.
I think I can handle myself,
Thank you.
Carol.
No, I think you can too.
Good job,
They
Mr.
shouldn't be
Moon.
telling you how to vote.
E. Park?
Almighty, please,
All right, you need to leave
please
also.
stop.
E. Park?
So, just so that we're clear, it's to either go with the recommendation of the hearing officer, is that?
I'm sorry, the motion before you is to deliberate on the disciplinary charges and the hearing officer's recommendations. The motion is to go into close to deliberate. That's all you're doing.
Okay. Yes.
Correct.
Yes?
Sorry. No,
You don't-
because I want to table it.
Okay, say no.
O?
Then no.
I said it.
Yours,
Yeah.
what was yours?
She was yes.
Ellen was yes, Gloria was up. No. Yes, on this one.
I'm recused.
No, once somebody else votes, the other person can't change the vote. McMorro?
I said recused.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I'm sorry.
M. Park?
Yes.
You don't know what I'm gonna say.
Wu?
Yes.
Okay. We will
Three
take the
yeses.
first,
Hold on, Water Mayor, just had one question.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and we may just explain to the public,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
why we're
We have to
So, I mean,
recuse.
So, just so they understand, I have to recuse.
Yeah.
Because there's a hearing on July 12th.
Yes?
Right, and that will determine whether I have a conflict or not.
Right. Not the whole case.
Right.
But on this particular matter.
So, I had asked to put this stuff off, and I guess that's why they tried to table it, to put off till, so the whole council can be involved in it, not just select few. If the court decides that I do have a conflict, obviously I will step out. So I'm asking my fellow council members to give us all a chance to listen, not just two people on one item.
So here's the thing, guys. Let me.
I don't understand this.
I just want to say, look, I think based on all the recusals and abstentions up here, you all need to take a look at yourselves and see what relationships you have with people out there that are creating problems for you up here, because you can't fulfill your duties as a councilman. And now, Ed, you're asking us to stop borough business because you had those relationships that triggered all this in the first place.
I'm asking to stop monkey business. I'm not asking to stop fuck. I'm saying, all I'm asking for is, wait till, what's the rush? You wait until February.
Okay,
Ed, we need to get it
It's a
done.
reasonable request. If you don't agree, it's fine, but I'm just telling you my side.
Okay, so, and to add to Councilman Versa's statement, all of what he said is accurate, but in addition, his council, Gloria's council, and Councilwoman Park's council, over the course of 3 days filed, the borough too, all filed 15 or 16 letters, and the judge refused to change her order. Therefore, the borough is entirely appropriate to move forward. This is an old matter. It's been waiting since March, and it's been waiting in the middle of the proceeding, which is even more troublesome.
It just sounds a little fishy that you want to get it done.
Okay.
I can't.
Wait,
So-
can I
And I can also point out that it's entirely appropriate to do it. It's old, it's in the middle, and I don't think that it is of such significance.
Anne Marie, what happens if they find that there is no conflict? Then what? Then whatever decision we made today is void, right?
And when you need legal advice on the litigation, you need to talk to your attorney about it.
No, I'm asking you, if the judge finds that there is no conflict, then tonight's deliberation and everything is void, correct?
Attorney about that. That's a litigation question.
You're...
Fingers in the face. I like this. Okay, we're back on, and
Motion to come out of closed session, for, that was just held for deliberation.
So moved. I can make a motion for that.
I guess you could, but you weren't in, so.
So moved?
Motion?
second.
There you go, motion in a second.
All right.
Back on the record in the matter of, deliberations and consideration
I
of...
think, we need to report the council,
That's fine. Councilwoman McMorro's not here at the moment.
she
Okay.
left the meeting?
No, she has left and gone home? James?
No, she outside.
Okay. Oh, she's outside? Okay.
Right, apparently, while we were in deliberation, there was some kind of altercation out here involving her and some others.
So this is part one of the second closed session, correct?
Yes, I would like you to call it A and B. I have a reason for that.
Okay.
So the A is, a motion, someone needs to make the motion.
Sure, I agree.
Hold on, someone needs to make a motion for decision on the disciplinary charge and hearing officer's recommendation regarding the charge of failure to investigate, which we have called the Eastwood matter. You need to make a motion.
Second.
No, you need to make the motion. You need to say what your decision is. Motion to,
Okay, what would you like the motion to be?
motion to accept, reject, or modify the hearing officer's decision, and then what the decision is.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept, reject, or modify the hearing officer's decision.
You gotta pick one of them,
No, it's okay, he'll do it.
Multiple choice.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept the hearing officer's decision.
Okay, and I will supplement
Is
that.
there a second?
Second.
All right, hold on. The hearing officer's decision was, and this way we get this into the motion, and then it'll go into the resolution.
Yeah, 2 days, 1 day served.
The conclusion of the hearing officer is recorded on page 31 of 32. He has recommended 2 working days. I find the penalty of 2 working days is reasonable and proportionate. The chief to serve 1 day, and the second day, he doesn't have to serve, but it does have to be recorded on his record. Is that your motion?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Do I take a roll?
You take a roll call.
Okay. Councilperson Park?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No.
The roll call is only the people who can.
Park.
Yes.
There's a park on that.
Oh, yeah, Park.
Pardon me? Okay, yes.
Yes.
Who?
Yes.
Okay.
It passes.
It
That
passes.
So B.
And B is, there will need to be a motion on the deliberations on the disciplinary charges and hearing officers recommended regarding Chief Chiappi's improper dissemination of ECPD inter-office memorandum, PBA Junior Police Academy. The recommendation of the hearing officer was suspension for 3 days. Is there a motion?
Yes.
What is the
So
motion?
make motion to accept the recommendation.
Okay. Second? I'm sorry.
Second.
That's you, not me.
Second.
I'm writing it down.
Right, to do a roll call.
Councilpersons E. Park?
Do you need to describe it?
We're done.
Considering all the stuff I said earlier, I don't think I need to repeat myself.
The fact that we got this agenda at 5:46 today, and there's an add-on, I abstain. And there's pending litigation as well.
Oh?
I also abstain, for the same reason.
Councilman Park?
Yes.
Councilman Wu?
Yes.
Mayor, it's 2 abstentions and 2 yeses.
Okay, it passes also. And just for the record, the reason why the agenda came out late today was because Councilman Aversa, and Councilwoman Park had attorneys trying to block the injunction that they're subject to. They tried to block it on Monday, on Tuesday, and today. That was actually issued on Friday. So, you know, we had to kind of do some extra work here to get to this point. We did. It's done. Have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can't keep you from making that motion.